Chapter 281, Book Fairy. The rank of life-knowing supernatural powers can change. When they were born, most of them were in the yellow class. After being tempered to a certain degree, according to the origin and potential of the life-knowing magical power itself, it may be transformed to a higher level, becoming a metaphysical power, or even a ground-level supernatural powers. This point, there is no reason for the promotion and transformation of supernatural powers. One kind of magical power in 1,000 people is 1,000 kinds of growth process. The power you play will be different. As far as this lip gun is concerned, it has definitely been mysterious, which is a life-knowing magic that completely surpasses the yellow. Very overbearing, just to the sun. Even Yi Tianxing has reached Heiding Juming. After the physical transformation, the powerful physical defenses were torn by a lip gun to cut a wound. When ordinary weapons were cut on the body, they would be shattered into fragments, and the perfusion could not be broken. But under that lip gun, a wound was torn apart, and it can be imagined how powerful this lip gun is. Very overbearing. It's a powerful physical body, but just because of this, I still don't want to peep at the entire Xuanzhen temple. There was a grunt in the old man's nose. As soon as the voice spit out, I immediately saw that the lip gun reappeared, and the ancient white gun blasted to Yi Tianxing like lightning. At the same time, a streamer flashed from the tip of the tongue. Only saw a mouthful of white war sword shot out from the tongue. This battle sword appeared in front of Yi Tianxing at an alarming speed, and he politely chopped down his neck. Confucianism and Taoism tongue sword. These are the two great powers of Confucianism and Taoism. Together, they suddenly swept up with two rivers of great fortune, flooding the entire hall. The spirit was full of vitality, and the power of terror brought a huge pressure. Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk almost felt that they were suffocating even breathing. Back and forth, constantly retreating. In just a few breaths, he was forced out of the Xuanzhen temple, and suddenly the door was closed. In the hall, only Shushan elderly and Yi Tianxing remained. Kill. Yi Tianxing's body was as tall as a pine, with a flash of light in his hand. The bronze war spear had fallen into his hand, and the broken jade spear broke out. Between the arms, the jade spear method is constantly being performed. Under the powerful physical force, the speed of the war spear is astonishing. Hold it in your hand and wave it again and again. Instantly confronted with the lip gun tongue sword that swept up. Ding ding ding. The lip gun tongue sword seems to contain amazing spirituality. Under the control of the elderly of Shushan, it is simply a magical show. Under the cooperation of each other, it looks like a snake and a dragon. In it is contained the incomparable violent power. Every moment, the moves and angles are changed dozens of times and hundreds of times. Launch and attack, all that can be seen is the streamers appearing outside Yi Tianxing like lightning. Numerous gun shadows and sword lights cover all areas of the body. However, no matter how fast the lip guns and swords are and how powerful they are, there is no way to break through the square guarded by the bronze spear. All were intercepted by a single spear. The sound of crisp collisions continued, and the horrible forces tore the ground around them. With each collision, the power that erupted from the bronze war spear trembled the lips and swords, and the light above them was dim. It seems that it will collapse at any time. If it were not for a steady stream of righteous infusion, I would have been completely broken. Although Yi Tianxing's realm has not reached the level of life and knowledge, but he has a combat power, but he is definitely not inferior to that of life and health. Especially the physical strength combined with self-cultivation, the destructive power revealed, can be called horror. Each hit is to destroy the sky and tear the sky. The fault is that the sword is already mysterious, and I am afraid that it will be crushed by a spear. However, the attack speed from the lip gun tongue sword is too fast. It's almost too hard to counterattack. As long as there is a slight leak in the defense, a critical strike will be launched. After seeing Yi Ziqiu they had been pushed out of Xuanzhen Hall, Yi Tianxing's eyes flashed a cold light suddenly, and said categorically, since only two of us are left in the hall, I don't need to cover it again, pick me up. Remember the magical powers of the body, the seal of the prison. Quote. Suppression. With a raised eyebrow, a blast of blood and blood burst out of the flesh and blood instantly. In the black tripod, the blood and blood rolled, and the town jail mark unceremoniously bloomed with a dazzling light of God, and blood was gushing. Suddenly, a golden ancient seal condenses out of thin air. Appeared before him. The golden ancient seal exuded a sense of vast sake, and the dragon elephant above seemed to come to life completely. Roaring in the sky, in a burst of golden light, the ancient seal instantly became larger and expanded rapidly. In a blink of an eye, it became the size of a grinding disc. Appeared directly above the old man in Shushan. When the old man of Shushan saw the Junyan seal, a strong breath of death came to his mind, and when the Junyan seal appeared above his head, he immediately felt that the space outside him was as if by an invisible force imprisonment. The surrounding space completely became an invisible cage. It is impossible to break free. Looking up, it was as if you saw a colossal Vajrayasaurus descending from the sky, suppressing it. The pressure from the prison mark fell an inch, and the pressure brought out was extremely horrible. It's like a horrible mountain rolling down. Book Mountain. The elderly in Shushan had felt that the space outside him had been imprisoned, and it was almost impossible to escape from this space. The ancient seal was really going to be suppressed. He estimated that he was afraid that he would die under the ancient seal. Do not want to. A magical power has been hit. I just saw that a great mountain appeared outside of me. It was not an ordinary mountain, it was a mountain of books. It can be seen that this book mountain is completely composed of a pair of bamboo slips, animal skins, and ancient books, and a book mountain condensed. It can be seen that there are countless scholars studying hard. Countless golden words flashed and echoed on Shushan. It's a masterpiece. Let Shushan's power be infinite. However, this book mountain seems a little small, and it is not too big. Shushan, only the books that were received by the old people of Shanshan, and even the comprehension, can be integrated into it, and become the power of Shushan. Infinite power. This is the top destiny of Confucianism and Taoism. A book mountain is enough to suppress everything. Of course, this premise is that the scale of Shushan must be large enough, amazing enough, and its own understanding of ancient books is enough and stronger. The stronger the power of Shushan. The old man of Shushan is in charge of the Xuanzhen Hall, and there are so many ancient books read. However, complete understanding is required to incorporate ancient books into Shushan. In this way, Shushan, the elderly of Shushan, also has a large scale. Rumble. As soon as Shushan appeared, it immediately rose into the sky, and impinged on the imprisonment in the air. It is necessary to directly overturn the town jail seal and collapse. The two collided, and suddenly, the ground shook. The aftermath of terror has shaken the hall. Shushan is full of light, countless scholars and great Confucians are reading the classics aloud, and they are very different, like a sacred mountain of Confucianism and Taoism. But the power contained in the seal of the prison was too horrible. On the ancient seal, the two stars flashed at the same time, and the weight of 270,000 kilograms was crushed down to bring about the destructive power. Even Shushan was shaken violently by repression. It seems that even Shushan was torn apart on the spot. What's going on? The whole hall is shaking. To what extent is it playing? Has Yi Dao's strength reached such an incredible level? I can feel the breath erupting inside, just like the ocean. Yi Ziqiu looked at the trembling hall, and his terror was like tide. Well, terrible power, this destructive power should have exceeded the limits of the Shanghai realm. It is too overbearing. I really don't know what the killing inside will look like. Unfortunately, we didn't even have the right to watch. Directly he was blasted out of the hall by Yu Bo. The strength of the old man in Shushan is really like the sea, unfathomable. I wonder if Yi Dao can beat him. Quote. The flower monk was also afraid. This picture is no longer terrible in general. In front of this breath, they felt that they could kill themselves on the spot with a random blow. Boom. In the hall, Junyanjun and Shushan are still entangled, but in an instant, we can see that the Shushan is constantly dim. Immediately, countless golden texts changed, and Shushan collapsed, unable to withstand the majestic power that erupted from the prison seal. Book Hill collapsed. The town jail seal fell, and the sword was cut on the town jail seal, but it was directly crushed by the town jail seal and collapsed on the spot. The old man of Shushan appeared unhindered. But at the moment when the elderly in Shushan were about to be completely suppressed, the prison seal disappeared without warning. The coercion that flooded the hall also disappeared. Is this to show mercy to the old man? Do I still need your charity? Kill it if you want to kill it, and don't bother to think about it. I would rather die than die. The old man at Shushan saw a cold hum in his nose and said flatly. It is true that the rotten temper of Confucian students was inherited into the bones. If I didn't guess, the predecessor should be Shu Ling, Shu Xian. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and calmed the blood rolling around his body. www.novelhall.com, flatly said. It is speculation, in fact, it is affirmative. This has already been spied on with the wordless book. Yes, I'm a Shushan. The elderly Shushan did not deny. I know that Shuling and Shushan are all born of the fragrance of books in ancient books. Once they appear, they have an inseparable relationship with books. They are born guardians of books. They have become one with those books. Life is linked. Once you completely lose your guarded books, it will dissipate itself. This should be why the seniors are desperate. Quote. Yi Tianxing said again. Nice. The elderly Shushan nodded badly. If we continue to fight, the predecessors' current strength may not be able to save their lives. You should not deny this, Yi Tianxing said calmly. Before I die, I can destroy all those books. No one can stop this if I want to. Shushan said with a sneer. Chapter 282, Hexagram 8. For subscription recommendation, 2 for monthly tickets. You will not, Yi Tianxing resolutely said, you are a book fairy, and your natural mission is to protect these books. You will never watch the books be destroyed. Even if you die, you will never destroy any ancient books. You have long read books more than your life. Quote. 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 The elderly Shushan heard that his face suddenly changed. Obviously, he was hit by Yi Tianxing, but he still raised his head, an expression that absolutely did not want him to yield. Actually, you can't stop me from getting all the ancient books here. However, I don't want to kill you and move away from the ancient books. If you leave then you must only end up completely dead. But there may not be the best of both worlds. You follow these ancient books and leave Xuanzhen altogether. If I take them away, there will be no damage, ancient books will not be damaged, and you will not fall. It is the best of both worlds. Quote. Yi Tianxing said with a smile. This is the best way. It is too difficult for a book fairy to be born. Only in the case of gathering a large number of books or even by chance, can it finally be born. Absolutely rare to the extreme, once born, it belongs to a very unique existence. They love books, and they have an unparalleled talent for practicing Confucianism. As long as there are enough books and long enough time, they can grow rapidly and the potential is almost endless. It's like the old man in Shushan now. The birth time is not long, but relying on its own potential, it still quickly grows to the current level. Once he is given time, it will not be difficult to become a top powerhouse. I really have to change it in a few more years. The one who is crushed may be Yi Tianxing himself. Just that book mountain, once there is enough information, the devil can suppress it. Quite awesome. Such a book fairy, a rare species, if given the opportunity, Yi Tianxing naturally wants to tie him to his chariot. Once grown up, it is a top-level powerful combat force. This will inevitably become the existence of a strong man, so long as it is possible, naturally will not let go. The intangible benefits it brings are countless. Shushan will fall from leaving the book, but it can be taken away along with those ancient books, so naturally there is no danger of falling. The question now is how to persuade the elderly in Shushan. If he can't convince him, he can only choose ancient books. The book here, he definitely does not intend to let go. Old is unwilling to follow a greedy person. The old man in Shushan said disdainfully. When it comes to greed, as long as it is a living being, there is greed. I am greedy for these books, and you are not greedy for these ancient books. How are you less greedy for books than me? Retorted. You, the old man of Shushan changed his face and sneered, this fairy is a love book. How can a love book be greedy? Only this fairy can take good care of these ancient books and can save them. Let them pass on without loss. Only I can protect them. How can I call greedy? Quote. If that is the case, I can't call it greedy. I collect these ancient books and put them in the top treasure room of the top treasure, which can store these ancient books more perfectly, preserve them forever, and can directly benefit countless people. Humanity. Contributing to the development of human civilization, such a big plan for the development of the human race, how can it be said to be greedy? Quote. Yi Tianxing heard that, with a smile on his face, said slowly. You're arrogant. The elderly Shushan heard, angrily leaning over his head, said angrily. I have a Tibetan scripture hall, which collects various exercises and classics. Where is the best place to go for these ancient books? Only by putting them inside can they play the most important role. I sincerely invite you to go with you. It doesn't matter about other things, just sit in the Zhangjing pavilion and watch the books in it, and not only these ancient books, I will collect more ancient books in the future. Quote. Yi Tianxing slowly said, today is the fusion of all realms. In each world, there are a large number of ancient books and ancient books, all kinds of knowledge, and the crystallization of countless sages, wisdom. I will collect those books and ancient classics sooner or later. Now, all of them are gathered in the Tibetan scripture pavilion, creating one of the true top library in the entire eternal continent. Although it is hard to say that the world is the first, it can be guaranteed that the number of books will continue to grow. Sooner or later, it will be like the sea, vast boundless. Quote, even if you are here, you are just holding on to these ancient books. The quantity will not increase at all. The cultivation of Shushan is related to ancient books. The more books you have, the faster you can grow, and you can understand endless knowledge. That is the book, where immortals should be the most. Quote, Yi Tianxing spoke one word at a time, and spoke out his own ideas. Now is a good start. These, more than just dreams, will become real reality. Elderly Shushan heard that various thoughts were born in his heart, and this might be an unspeakable temptation to him. He had said before that his life was books. But sooner or later, the collection of books here will cause him to be hesitant, and it will be difficult for him to help him anymore, but it will become a constraint. The collection of books here is limited, and the collection of books in one world is also limited, but if it can gather a variety of ancient books in countless worlds, what kind of scenes will it look like? He felt the yearning for that picture. Every day you can see the increase in the number of ancient books in the book of scriptures. That is the greatest sense of happiness. Think of the scene depicted by Yi Tianxing. Eventually the old man from Shushan was shaken. The temptation was so great that he couldn't resist it at all. Humph. The old man in Shushan snorted and waved. Suddenly, in the hall, a large number of ancient books on the bookshelf appeared again. All over the hall, the collection is extremely rich. What emerged this time was true. Before it was just a phantom, it was false. Seeing this, Yi Tianxing didn't know where the old man of Shushan apparently had made his choice, showing his default attitude. Without hesitation, a wave of bookshelves disappeared, and a large number of ancient books were collected in the Hongmeng Emperor Tower. The space inside should accommodate these, but it was just a pediatrics. Be careful, don't break it. The elderly Shushan shouted nervously beside him. That love of books is absolutely clear. Shu Lao, you can go in too. You can't leave the library for too long. The Zhangjing pavilion arranged for you in the future will never let you down. Yi Tianxing said to the old man with a smile. The elderly in Shanshan did not hesitate to let Yi Tianxing send him to the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. He took care of his baby books. I finally got it. The gains this time are absolutely incalculable. Don't let me take a shot. After all the ancient books were taken in, Yi Tianxing was secretly relieved. This is a priceless treasure. The benefits brought to Xuanwang town are too great. Too big to measure. After looking at the hall there are no more valuable items. Then he walked out of the hall. Yi Daoyu, how about it, don't get hurt. Yi Ziqiu saw and hurried forward and asked. Yeah, the old man in Shushan didn't treat you like that. The flower monk asked, too. Yi Tianxing said with a smile, rest assured that the old man in Shushan can't help me. What I want is also obtained. There is no need to continue here. Find out if there are other ways to leave here. There was no intention of speaking about the assassination in the hall. Yi Ziqiu could see this, so naturally they wouldn't ask more, and they started to find it. Come here, look, there is still a passage here to leave this platform. It seems to lead directly to the opposite side. Yi Ziqiu began to shout soon. When I came to the back of the Xuanzhen temple, I could immediately see that a long and slender floating road appeared in front of me. This road looked similar to the Thunder Dragon road that I had previously walked through, and there was not much difference. Obviously, this road leads to another area. Let's go. Looking at the road in front, Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate and strode straight up the aisle. However, when I stepped on this time, there were no lightning bolts or other terrible traps. It seemed like a normal road. Fortunately, there is no institution this time. Is this King Huainan showing kindness in his heart? Yi Ziqiu muttered strangely. Looking to both sides, there is an abyss below, and it was not a joke to fall. It's better to have no institutional trap. Monk, I don't want to be hacked again. The flower monk grinned. I don't know what is ahead. I have crossed Kowloon Road before, and now I'm most likely going to Gossip Terrace. You see, there are 9 passages connecting the platform we are going to. People who walk along other Kowloon Road also where it will arrive. The destination is the same. Yi Ziqiu said. I can already see the gossip platform, www.novelhall.com, it's so spectacular and amazing. It cut off the whole mountain and turned it into a giant gossip platform. It is a towering mountain that was cut off to form a platform, but this platform turned out to be a gossip. On the surface, you can see the mysterious gossip pattern. At a glance, you can see that this is a giant gossip picture. This gossip platform is magical. At first glance, people are shocked. I can't believe this is real. It's amazing. This is Fuxi's congenital gossip platform. Yi Ziqiu exclaimed. This gossip platform has 3 layers, and the top is an unequal octagon. The middle floor is 8 doors. These 8 doors are real. Seems to be able to push away and lead to a location somewhere. It seems extremely mysterious. The bottom layer is an ordinary platform with various mysterious beasts engraved on it. It is lifelike and daunting. Chapter 283, 8 Phases. There is a delay. Close black lens bracket. Standing under the gossip platform, people can't help but give birth to a strong shock, and people secretly create a slight illusion. This gossip platform is definitely not simple. Otherwise, it would not be possible to point out that monument on the monument. It is possible that it is from the handwriting of the King of Huainan. Even if it is known that a craftsman has escaped, the monument has not been erased. In addition to the monument, instead of writing, whether it is Julong Road or Gossip Terrace, it may be the proud work of the Huainan king. If it was not for the Huainan king, it would be a more incredible existence. Quote. Yi Tianxing said slowly looking at the gossip table in front of him. No matter who left it, you can know that the gossip table is definitely not easy. Definitely not worse than Kowloon Road, or even more weird. There are 8 ancient doors on the 2nd floor of this gossip platform, which should lead to the inside of the gossip platform. Each ancient door has words on it, namely Qian, Zhen, Kan, Zhen, Kun, Li, Dui. This is the gossip gate. It represents dryness as heaven, Kun is ground, earthquake is thunder, cricket is wind, hurdle is water, Li is fire, general is mountain, and Wei is zi. I'm afraid that every door contains a difference. And the words on this door are changing. The direction of the gossip is constantly changing. Quote. Yi Ziqiu knows Kimenjia, which is inseparable from these 5 elements. Begin to explore the mystery of this gossip platform in the first time. Hope to spy a hint of mystery. This gossip is a Taoist thing, I don't understand the monk. They heard it, but I am not proficient. But he should be better at Yi Daoyu. The flower monk also shook his head to say something about Buddhism. He also knows something about Taoism. He really can't help it. There is no other way out for this gossip platform. Either go back or choose a gossip door to enter. It is really unpredictable what kind of danger it contains. It may be a trap. It may be a horrific formation. Yi Ziqiu thought for a while, then said. The 8 diagrams platform is natural, no flaws can be found, and there is no other way out. The only thing that can be entered is the 8 ancient gates, but the flashing ancient characters on these 8 ancient gates are changing at any time. Without a conclusion, there will be change in an instant. The last second is the dry word, and the next second is the kun word. People who may go in at the same time may be directly separated. Appears in different places. If there is a door, then there must be a different space behind the door. Whether it's a room or something. There is at least a way forward. Well, staying here is not a problem. We'll go in and see now. It's impossible to see the door without getting in. Yi Tianxing nodded and nodded. Now that there is a door, let's get into it. No matter what, you can only respond accordingly when you see it. That's right, it's all here, it's impossible to just return. Yi Ziqiu nodded and said, came here, until now, he hasn't got any baby, so he won't be reconciled. Not to mention the legendary Fei Xian Dan has not yet seen. Leaving it like this is not easy to return to empty-handed. Then let's go in and make a break. See what mystery is in this gossip platform. The flower monk said loudly. Let's go. Yi Tianxing went ahead and walked to the gossip platform. The first layer is nothing special. Without being blocked, he went directly to the 2nd floor. After walking around the gossip platform, it was clearly seen that 8 ancient gates stood in the 8 prescription positions respectively. Simple and mysterious. People cannot help but give birth to a kind of cowardly heart. Brush. Came to an ancient gate and watched the ever-changing Ji Yuxi, without hesitation, stepped in directly. The moment when you put your hand on the door, a powerful engulfing force is naturally transmitted from the door, and this force is very strong. There was no way Yi Tianxing could resist, as if it were an illusory door, and when he touched it, he stepped in. It's gone. Disappeared. Yi Ziqiu and the two witnessed it with their own eyes. Yi Tianxing just put his hand on the door, and then he was enveloped by a light of the god, and then disappeared without any sign. However, they did not hesitate to press their hands directly on the door, a flash of light passed, and they disappeared. It turns out to be another world. What is this place? The gossip platform contains the world. The secret world. This is not an ordinary world. After encountering the ancient gate, Yi Tianxing felt a force to pull himself in, followed by a flash of light, came to a new world. Behind that door, it was not a secret room or a palace, but a real world, a new mystery. At a glance, you can't see the marginal secret world. He was not surprised to appear somewhere in the heavens and the earth, but what is really weird is that this heaven and earth is not unusual, nor is it ordinary. This world is a wild swamp. Swamp. All are swamps. Strands of black radon are constantly emerging from the swamp. This is radon and poisonous gas, which is absolutely extremely toxic. Bad air pervades the sky, covering up the realization, even if it is a normal monk, I can't see how far away. It is impossible to know if there is any terrible creature hidden in the breath. Gossip is divided into 8 phases. The 8-phase heaven, earth, water, wind, and thunderstorm fire. Does this gossip platform evolve into the 8-phase heaven and earth? Here is the swamp world. Yi Tianxing's mind flashed a thought. Instinctively felt that it was related to gossip. According to legend, gossip deduced to the extreme can evolve the world. It seems that this is indeed the case. Moreover, it is possible to evolve not only the swamp heaven and earth, but also the other 7 heavens and earths. Together, they are the 8 phases. Almost as soon as it entered the swamp heaven and earth, the suffocated air around the heavens and earth had begun to invade the body frantically. This kind of invasion is quite terrible. Lian Yishanxing has already reached the peak of hiding's powerful body, and still can clearly feel that the poison is constantly drilling into the body, and when it enters the flesh, it begins to spread toward the whole body. Poisoning has begun. Good domineering poison. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, and the most important thing was that his entire body began to sink into the swamp. He had no way to fly in the air right now. As soon as he entered, he almost fell on the swamp. When he touched the swamp, his body began to sink. Moreover, the more parts of the body sink into the swamp, the more horrible the venomous power passed from the swamp. Once completely trapped, it is almost impossible to break free. Difficult. We must find a solution as soon as possible. Unless pure power can completely destroy the entire swamp world, otherwise, there is no way. Every thought flashed quickly in Yi Tianxing's mind. This is not a joke. The swamp is the most terrible. It is the power that can swallow everything and completely sink everything. It is absolutely the nemesis of power. In the swamp, you are okay. As long as you struggle, the body is pulled down, it is faster. The swamp can absorb the power and speed up the operation of the swamp. If the power falls in the swamp, it is equal to adding fuel and vinegar to the swamp. Yi Tianxing has a strength of 90,000 kilograms, and exerts physical powers. He can even burst out of 200,000 kilograms of power. However, if he bombards the swamp, the whole swamp will boil. Then, Yi Tianxing will be completely swallowed up. Those forces that bombarded the mountain peaks might break them down, but they would only be swallowed up in the swamp. Obviously, ordinary means are not enough to get out of the predicament. Icebound. With a moment of thought, an ice seal appeared in his hands. Quickly fell towards the swamp outside. Brush. A cold air passed from the ice seal and landed on the swamp. I immediately saw that the swamp outside the body began to be frozen at a speed visible to the naked eye and imprisoned. However, the ice seal was too small for the entire swamp. Even if the swamp silt was frozen by ice, it was crushed by more silt in a short time and turned into a small grain of slag, which disappeared in the silt. The ice seal is also useful for ordinary small swamps, but it is extremely weak for the whole world in a state of swamp silt, and it can even be said that it does not exist at all. Easily sink into the power of the swamp. Frozen is not good. Unless I can completely freeze thousands of miles, it will be possible to freeze the swamp in an instant. Now I can only seal the surface, but not below, it will naturally collapse. If there is a way to seal these silts, if you take it, maybe you can crack the swamp. Quote. Yi Tianxing saw that, shaking his head, the method of freezing was obviously not effective. www.novelhall.com, we must think of other ways. Suddenly, a flash of aura flashed, and a look of joy appeared in his eyes. He secretly groaned. The method of removing the silt may not be impossible. I can't do it by others, but I have the Hongmengtiandi Tower. The space inside the 5 towers has been opened. There is a chaotic world in a jewel. According to legend, in chaos, everything will be swallowed and refined, and become chaotic air. If the mud is sent into the chaotic world, will it be assimilated by the chaotic world? Quote. Immediately after this thought appeared, it took root in my mind. There is no way to get rid of it. With a single thought, Hongmengtiandi, who was always suppressed in Shanghai, appeared suddenly and appeared in his hands. Hold it in your hands. A heavy pressure was passed from the pagoda and fell into the hands, the entire arm was sinking. This glazed pagoda exudes an ancient atmosphere, and a faint light of ***** seems to hang from the tip of the tower. A jewel above is blooming. Swallow me. Holding the pagoda, put the pagoda in the swamp silt without hesitation. As soon as my mind moved, suddenly, a swarm of rotten mud was swallowed directly by the pagoda, and under the control, it appeared directly in the chaotic world inside the spirit beads. This chaotic space is also 10 miles in size. When the silt appeared, it was covered by the air of chaos. Chapter 284, Swamp Heart. At this moment, Yi Tianxing witnessed the overbearing place of chaos. It is clear that as soon as the mud enters, they are immediately swallowed by the air of chaos, disappearing so silently, and the chaos air in the chaos space seems to increase a little. Although not much, it has increased. Those sludges were so easily refined. In addition, part of the increased chaos gas directly penetrated into the tower and merged into the 5-story pagoda. The space inside the tower naturally grew and expanded. Chaos is a very pure nourishment for any world. Perfuse into the space inside the tower, and naturally allow those spaces to grow and expand. Grow up quickly. The size of the chaotic space is at the same level as the space inside the tower. This is a balanced process. The chaos in chaos space increases, and a part of it will be directly poured into the space inside the tower. That is to say, as long as with abundant resources, while expanding the chaotic space, it is also expanding the space inside the tower. Quote. When Yi Tianxing felt it, he suddenly felt a little enlightenment in his heart. In the past, Lingju was not integrated into the Hongmengtiandi Tower. The information obtained from the tower required the use of pagodas to swallow a large amount of natural treasures, or even to quench the pagodas with their own true energy to grow the space inside the tower and keep expanding. In addition, in the process of refining Tiansaidibao, it takes a lot of time, and some top materials will take longer. And now the fusion of spirit beads has caused the pagoda to mutate. This chaotic space is like a chaotic melting furnace. It can completely melt a large amount of heaven and earth treasures into chaotic atmosphere, and finally merge into the tower space to become the most perfect nourishment. This nourishment is more perfect than any natural treasure. Chaos is the source of all things. Chaos can evolve everything and integrate into the space inside the tower. It naturally contains all the laws of heaven and earth. Under normal circumstances, the chaos gas is enough to directly destroy the cave space and devour it into chaos, but now the spirit beads and the pagoda are integrated, but it becomes the chaos space to feed the space inside the tower. Form a mysterious cycle. Very amazing. These are just a quick turn in my mind, and then set aside, these are not what he needs to pay attention to. The only thing I know now is that Hongmengtiandi Tower does have the power to swallow the swamp silt and refine it. Capability, this also means that one's own conjecture can be done. I couldn't help but rejoice on the spot. Swallow me with all your strength. This swamp is not an eternal world outside, there is no need to fear that it will be hated by heaven and earth, and cause any bad cause and effect with heaven and earth. This is a great meal. A real meal. Yi Tianxing was overjoyed. With the crammed goods like Hongmengtiandi Tower, my heart has been worrying about how to transform the space in the tower, and now there are 5, and there must be more than 5 in the future. The more the world, the more difficult it will be to promote. Even the original world inside the tower became larger. In the process of adding another one, the original world will shrink and feed the new space inside the tower. Until the same size, this is quite a pit. As long as he has the opportunity to grow the pagoda, he will never hesitate. Not to mention such a large swamp world. I don't know what kind of transformation will be brought to Hongmengtiandi Tower by swallowing the entire swamp together. A thought flashed in my mind. Rumble. The pagoda showed its power completely, transmitting a powerful phagocytic force inside it. A sludge of mud was drawn into the chaotic space like flowing water, and was quickly refined and turned into a strand of chaotic air. The sludge was nothing. However, the silt contains highly toxic substances, and contains a strange power, which enriches the vitality of the heavens and the earth, refines it, and allows the chaos gas to continue to grow. The chaotic space is expanding, and the space inside the tower is constantly expanding. This process occurs at a rate that is visible to the naked eye. Outside Yi Tianxing, you can see that a mud vortex was formed by being sucked stiffly by Hongmengtiandi Tower. With the body as the center, the swamp silt around it is swept in quickly. No matter what it is, as long as there is no resistance, it will be absorbed naturally. This swamp world is really too big. With the engulf of Hongmengtiandi Tower, Yi Tianxing's entire body continued to sink. A moment later, it sank to the bottom. The pagoda also appeared on top of the head, exuding the swallowing power that swallowed down from the top of the head, and swallowed in unceremoniously, so that a strange space emerged from the outside. This is a space submerged in the swamp silt. The silt above cannot fall down and it will be swallowed by the pagoda. This process always maintains a delicate balance. Although there is no air under the swamp, it can be closed. Even day and night, it will not have any effect. Can easily get over. What's underneath? Yi Tianxing stood under the swamp, and the mud on his head was naturally swallowed by a pagoda. There is no need to worry about it. Immediately after grabbing the thing, holding it in your hand, you can see that it turned out to be a crystal with a green color. While holding it, a strange power was transmitted from the crystal, very similar to the radon felt before. But be more pure. The radon treasure crystal turned out to be a crystal condensed by radon gas and fell into the swamp. This is a very precious treasure of heaven and earth. Not only can it be used to make magic weapons, but it can also be used to make elixir, formulate highly toxic and potion. Such radon treasure crystals are difficult to get, and only the marsh radon can be condensed. Quote, the wordless book in the body has immediately brought the message of the green crystal in his hand to his mind. This is not an ordinary treasure. The value of any piece of ravenous treasure crystal is quite extraordinary, and even this is one of the natural treasures needed to open up some kind of life. It is very precious. It can be said that to a certain extent, it is a rare treasure. Good thing, I didn't expect such a treasure to be hidden in this swamp. Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate, immediately put this jealous treasure crystal into the Heaven Emperor's tower, and stored it well. As far as it goes, go ahead. But without taking a few steps, I saw another ravenous treasure. It seems that there are not many radon treasure crystals here. It is indeed the swamp world. The radon gas is endless, so that a large number of radon treasure crystals can be bred. Collecting them is an amazing wealth. Yi Tianxing was overjoyed. You are welcome to start carefully collecting radon treasure crystals. One by one the radon treasure crystals were found and put into the pagoda. There is no plan to completely refining these radon treasure crystals. Of course, refining the crystals will definitely make the pagoda grow, which is faster than swallowing the mud. But some things have a role far beyond its refined value. This point, Yi Tianxing is very clear. Such treasures are born in the years. It is natural to save as much as possible. Moreover, engulfing the sludge is not slow at all for the growth of the pagoda. You can now see that all the space inside the tower has grown. This growth is amazing, reaching the size of 11 miles. More space and thicker floors. This growth continues. Thump, thump, constantly walking under the swamp while searching for radon treasure. For more than an hour, in the process, the number of precious crystals collected has been no less than 4,000 or 5,000. The number is amazing. The space inside the tower also sprang up to a range of 20 miles. Compared to the beginning, it has doubled in size. Of course, this is the range of space, and its size increases even more. After all, the ground is expanding and its height is increasing. This is definitely not a question of 1 + 1 = 2. Upon expansion, the increase in strength is several times or even 10 times. Facing the transformation of the pagoda, the joy in Yi Tianxing couldn't be masked. Hongmengtiandi Tower is his destiny. The stronger the pagoda, the stronger he is, even reaching a certain level, and he will nurture himself. The benefits are really huge. However, while walking in the swamp, suddenly, a huge vibration sound like a heartbeat appeared in my ear. Something, even beating like a heart. Is it that some kind of terror beast is hiding in the swamp? This sound comes from the beast. A haze suddenly appeared in Yi Tianxing's heart. The beast that can survive in the swamp is definitely a terrible existence. Once broke out, the combat power is horrible. Especially in a swamp environment. www.novelhall.com, that is their home field. However, there was no retreat. On top of the pagoda, walked step by step in the direction of the heartbeat. Pagodas are swallowing a lot of silt at all times. This makes the whole swamp heaven and earth fall stiffly. It is conceivable how much sludge is swallowed. What it is. When he was close to the location where the heart sound came, Yi Tianxing's gaze was slightly frozen, a sharp contraction, and he couldn't help making a surprised voice. If you look closely, you can clearly see that in front, there is a green halo. In the green halo, a green heart emerges. This heart seems to be alive. The mysterious texture from ancient times emerged from above, beating continuously. The beating sound was very strong and powerful. Between contraction, there seemed to be a lot of heaven and earth vitality going directly into it, and when it was beating, a volt rushed out, even a stream of green mud was sprayed directly. These sludges were sent directly out of the halo, appeared in the swamp, and merged with other sludges without any difference. Chapter 285, Dragon Crocodile. The first change. Today, I will be tweeting. Please subscribe for recommendations. Come with 2 monthly tickets. Thank you brothers for your continued support. Close black lens bracket. What is this? It turned out to be directly derived from the swamp silt. The spewing sludge contains highly toxic, strong entanglement, and swallowing power. Is the swamp silt in this swamp world all born from this heart come out? What is this? Is it the core of the whole swamp world? Quote. Yi Tianxing saw a steady flow of mud flowing from this heart between the ups and downs, and his heart couldn't help shaking. If such a guess is true, then this heart is undoubtedly the most important core treasure in the entire swamp world. Even the origin of heaven and earth. The facts are not unexpected. In the wordless book, a paragraph emerged. Heart of the swamp, a world of treasures born in the 8 phases. Gossip platform gathers the power of heaven and earth, runs the world, evolves the swamp heaven and earth, gathers the qi, obtains the heaven and earth, and the mysterious feng shui, breeds the heart of the swamp. Once born, it is called the core of the swamp heaven and earth. Generate endless swamp silt, turn fertile soil into swamps. Can open life tricks, can be refined into treasure. After seeing the message on Wushu Tianshu, Yi Tianxing's mouth widened on the spot. This is simply an inestimable treasure. Its value is high, compared with the previous radon treasure crystal, that is the difference between heaven and earth, it is completely slag. Being crushed at any time. There is no way to compare and compete. The most important thing is that this is a different treasure. Even if it is not an attacking exotic treasure, its effect is so great that for many monks, it will never be inferior to or even more powerful than any exotic treasure. Good thing, with the heart of the swamp, I can use this to open up new space inside the tower. And, with the characteristics of the heart of the swamp, the open space inside the tower should have special characteristics. It will transform into a special space, special world. Quote. As soon as Yi Tianxing's eyes lighted up, he already had a hint of thoughts on its effect in the first place. Its value is diverse, but for him, integration into the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower and becoming part of it is the biggest use. The best effect can be exerted, and its value can be maximized. This is more important to him than any other treasure. If Hongmeng Tiandi Tower is willing, with the treasures in his hands, he can open up more space in the tower, making the towers taller and stronger, but this is the treasure of evangelism. He is not willing to integrate into the treasures at will. To reduce the potential of Sermonati treasure will be worth the loss. The different treasures integrated into the tower must have different benefits to themselves and even the pagoda. Otherwise, unrestricted integration into different treasures, even for hundreds of millions of years, do not want to make Hongmeng Tiandi Tower transform and promote to a higher level. And this swamp heart can form a swamp space in the Emperor Tower. Eventually evolved into a swamp world, this effect is too great. Good stuff, collect it for me and be part of my Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. Yi Tianxing was overjoyed in his heart, and he didn't even want to think about it. In a moment of thought, Hongmeng Tiandi Tower has unceremoniously fallen down towards the heart of the swamp. Roar! Just then, all of a sudden, the swamp silt rolled around, and a pair of cold eyes stared at Yi Tianxing in the sludge. When they saw the heart of the swamp, intense desire and greed flashed in their eyes. It was an unwilling possession. This swamp heart is it. It can feel that the heart of the swamp has inestimable benefits to it. As long as it is obtained, its strength will definitely increase rapidly and its combat power will skyrocket. At the moment when Hongmeng Tiandi Tower fell towards the heart of the swamp, he finally couldn't help it anymore, and gave out a roar, killing him at a terrible speed, and Yi Tianxing only saw a shadow flashing followed by a huge mouth full of teeth has appeared in front of him, biting towards him. The mouth opened, and one can be easily swallowed. Real blood bowl mouth. The momentum emanating was terrible. The erupting bite is even more horrifying. Crocodile. When the black shadow rushed over, Yi Tianxing had already seen the original appearance of the figure, which was basically a huge crocodile, which was no less than 10 meters long, with gray scales all over the body, flashing. The cold light, the interwoven texture, seems to contain Daoyun. At a glance, you know that the scales are very strong in defense, and their slender mouths are not crocodile or something. Moreover, it is not an ordinary crocodile. This is a dragon crocodile, an ancient dragon crocodile with dragon blood. The radiating momentum completely exceeded the level of the first-order fierce beast. This is a second-order fierce beast. The outbreak of attack power and destructive power are quite terrible. The first-tier beast can be compared with the monk of the Shanghai realm, especially the physical body of the beast, plus the blood veins' supernatural power. The destructive power is stronger than that of the monk of the sea. Presence. Whenever it appears, the destructive power is amazing. The destructive power of this dragon crocodile can be imagined. Before it was hidden in the silt, it could move freely in the swamp without being affected by the swamp silt, as if it were a fish into the sea. Previously, Yi Tianxing's attention was attracted by the heart of the swamp, and his vigilance decreased slightly. In this fight, it was too late to react. I don't want to think about it. Qi and blood have perfused the whole body in a moment. Blended into flesh and blood, the whole body shone with treasure light. At the same time, a layer of body protection had already appeared outside him. Click. The crocodile's fight was too fast. Yi Tianxing had swallowed it in the blink of an eye, and the upper and lower sharp teeth quickly chewed and chewed. The crocodile's biting force is too amazing, and the fangs in the mouth are sharp enough to be comparable to the magic weapon, and fall on the body. Even if it is Yi Tianxing, it feels as if it has been hit by the horror, and the internal organs are shaking. The whole body's bones made stiff noises, sharp teeth, and they shattered the shroud on the spot and fell on the body. They were blocked by the tough body, but the treasure light on the body followed the dimness. Falling on the body, tearing out a lot of wounds. However, the physical strength also erupted into a strong anti-shock force. Forcibly broke the crocodile's mouth. But how cruel is the dragon crocodile. Yi Tianxing tears a wound on his body, blood falls in his mouth, and the blood-stained dragon crocodile is even more brutal. He feels that Yi Tianxing wants to break free, and puts out his tongue politely and rolls his body. Pull, swallowed into your stomach without mercy. No matter what, swallow it first. I feel that with my own digestive ability, let alone a person, even if it is eaten with a piece of iron stone, it can be digested in a moment and become its own nutrients. From the dragon crocodile's culling to the swallowing of Yi Tianxing, the process was extremely rapid and fast, making it unimaginable that even within a second, it was completely over. The process of launching the attack was too fierce. While swallowing Yi Tianxing, he looked ecstatically at Hongmeng Tiandi Tower in the heart of the marsh. Do not want to, instinctively opened his mouth again, and swallowed the pagoda with the heart of the swamp. I was swallowed by this crocodile. It seems that he hasn't seen the journey to the west. I don't know if there is anything, not everything can be swallowed. Yi Tianxing was swallowed by dragon crocodile politely. Into the belly. The rapid shuttle process in the esophagus made Yi Tianxing's heart cold. Dare to swallow him directly, he will definitely give it a profound lesson. In an instant, he fell into an area. It was in a sealed space. Surrounded by a stinky acid. You can also see in the acid solution whether the antelope is completely digested, which is stomach acid. Obviously, this is going into the stomach of the dragon crocodiles. With both feet standing in the stomach acid, immediately the shoes on the feet and even the clothes began to corrode quickly. The power of the stomach acid was extremely powerful, let alone clothes. Even if a large stone fell, it would be completely digested. Even this stomach acid began to corrode towards Yi Tianxing's flesh. This kind of corrosion is all-pervasive, and it is necessary to melt the flesh and blood of Yi Tianxing, but the powerful flesh produced by the refining body is destined not to be easily corroded by these stomach acids. A layer of magical light emanates from the flesh and blood, so that the corrosive power of stomach acid can't damage the flesh at all, but in the process, the blood in the body is constantly consumed. Swallow me in, then don't blame me for piercing 8 holes in your body. If you don't die, I will die. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and glanced at the area where he was sneer. Ding! Just when I was about to start, suddenly, I saw that Hongmengtiandi Tower was falling down quickly, and the heart of the swamp was also carried. It was even swallowed by the dragon crocodiles. This crocodile, www.novelhall.com, dared to swallow everything. Yi Tianxing saw a twitch in his mouth. However, there was a hint of joy in my heart. Hongmengtiandi Tower collided with the heart of the swamp. Instantly, the heart of the swamp was swallowed up by the pagoda. This swallow, suddenly, on the pagoda, the divine light flickered, and suddenly, it rose up a quarter. The original 5-storied pagoda suddenly turned into a 6-storied pagoda. Amazingly, it swallowed the heart of the swamp into the pagoda and became the 6th treasure. Adding another weight, the pagoda fell into the hands. In an instant, a strange feeling melted into his mind, as if he could feel the joy from Hongmengtiandi Tower. And, the space inside the pagoda. Great changes have also taken place. The space inside the tower, which had been expanded to more than 20 miles in radius, contracted directly and shrank to 18 miles in radius. This is true of phase chaos. The new tower space can be seen clearly, it is not the normal cave sky space. It's a swamp world completely covered in silt. At the birth, a little bit of suffocation rose on the surface of the swamp. Chapter 286, Highlights of Chongbao. Second, please recommend a monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. Marsh space. Yi Tianxing saw that he was overjoyed and nodded secretly. In the future, as long as he suppresses the enemy into the swamp space, ordinary monks will definitely die in it and it will be difficult to break free. There is one more way to fight the enemy. If the heart of the swamp is transformed and promoted, the swamp space will inevitably become more powerful and terrible. This kind of exotic treasure is a unique treasure that has become the core of the world. Quote, although it has long been speculated that the heart of the swamp may have an impact on the space inside the tower, I can't help but secretly see it now. Normal space is generally the same as the inner space of the tower. Although it will be affected by the opened-up treasures, it still belongs to the normal world. It is born of chaos and developed by the 5 elements. Various laws are born, but in some special cases, some extreme worlds will have wonderful effects instead. Just like in the swamp world, it does not mean that there are no other rules in this swamp space, but other rules will be integrated into the swamp and become a part of it to promote the development and transformation of the world. It's just that the swamp is the power of the law that finally emerges. Of course, the development of swamp space also reduced the space in the tower at the same time. The original power was divided into a new swamp world, allowing the entire swamp space to expand rapidly to the size of 18 miles. This is a unique balance. Each space in the tower will be the same size. This is a very strange rule. This is why Yi Tianxing would have said that this pagoda was extremely embarrassing. It is possible that he was promoted to Dakion world before, and the new space inside the tower will be born the next moment, and he will soon drag down from Dakion world. Even the grade of Hongmengtiandi Tower itself will fall because of this. Just a pit, but the more space inside the tower, the stronger the power of the pagoda, but this is beyond doubt. Boom! Yi Tianxing felt that the chi from the pagoda was stronger. Looking around, he could not help but sneer, and then threw the pagoda in his hand. With this throw, the stomach acid underneath burst instantly. And the dragon crocodile, who was still feeling a joy, was about to rush out of the swamp, and suddenly felt an inexplicable sink in his body, as if he had eaten countless scales. The body was involuntarily sinking and falling into the swamp. The Hongmengtiandi Tower was released, that is, the 5 caves were rolled down together, and the weight brought by it, plus the weight of the pagoda, instantly hit the dragon crocodiles directly under the swamp. Make a dull noise. This fall, he dropped it on the spot. It feels like the whole dragon crocodile is not good. It felt like it was eating something bad. Suddenly, a surprising amount of weight is transferred from the body. The pressing self has no way to move, as if the body has been pressed to the ground. As long as you dare to move, you will be smashed by the intestines of the horrible force in your body. Miserable. Puff, puff. At this moment, I only saw that the dragon crocodile's eyes were exasperated, and then it was a color of fear. The body shivered violently. In several crisp sounds, we could see that a bronze war spear pierced out of the body, piercing the back, piercing the body, piercing blood holes. Blood spewed. It felt like he was eating the scourge. There was a trace of regret in my heart. A dragon crocodile, outside, maybe I can't kill you yet. After all, the second-tier beast is not an ordinary creature, and the scale armor is tough, but it swallowed me into the stomach. This is a self-death. Yi Tianxing waved his war spear, and unceremoniously pierced his stomach, tearing a crack, looking into the dragon crocodiles, thinking of it, bursting a few spears towards it. Let's pierce a few holes first. Then he politely waved the war spear and wreak havoc in the dragon crocodiles. Shooting from the inside out, with the sharpness of the bronze war spear, it is easy. All the internal organs were penetrated. A huge heart appeared before him. Even if the dragon crocodile is stronger, the heart is broken, I see how you can survive. As soon as the words fell, an unceremonious spear pierced the huge heart. Roar! The dragon crocodile glared, and made a screaming roar, and the whole body rolled madly under the swamp, and the bleeding meat pieces continued to spray. Feeling the collapse of his own vitality, the dragon crocodiles almost fell into madness. For a moment, rolling madly, the crocodile that kept on crashing lay on the ground, motionless. Puff! A light flashed. Yi Tianxing stepped out directly from the back of the dragon crocodile, and most of his clothes had been corroded. Fortunately, Hongmeng Tiandi Pagoda also stored a few clothes, and then put them on. Looking at the motionless dragon crocodile. Self-dead, Yi Tianxing sneered and uttered a voice. Roar! But at this moment, the dragon crocodile, which had been silent, opened his eyes without warning, eyes full of ferocious color, opened his mouth wide, and bitten fiercely towards Yi Tianxing again. This bite can see a layer of cold light on the teeth. This was a fatal blow from the death of the dragon crocodile. This bite is terrifying. Regardless of speed or strength, it completely surpassed before. Boom! Yi Tianxing didn't want to think about it, he exploded backwards at the same time. At the same time, Hongmeng Tiandi Tower appeared in front of him, directly replacing himself in the original position, and quickly becoming larger, just like an adult. The dragon crocodile bite on it, and the spotlight shot bright light on the spot. The pagoda was too hard. The dragon crocodiles bit on it, pinching out Mars, and even breaking their teeth a lot. Fractured on the spot. Subsequently, the dragon crocodiles could only fall to the ground with unwilling eyes. No more voices. With a few thoughts, the crocodile of the dragon crocodile has been put into the pagoda. Crocodile meat has always been very delicious. There are many delicious dishes that use crocodiles as ingredients. They should be able to cook the best food. This is a second-order fierce beast. The flesh and blood in the body contains richer energy. Hongmeng Tiandi Tower returned directly to the body and appeared in Shanghai, suppressing Shanghai. Crocodile meat is a good thing. There is no reason to waste. It's definitely not that easy to kill it if it's not from the body. Unfortunately, this dragon crocodile doesn't know, not everything can be eaten indiscriminately. Frowning slightly, he felt clearly that from the swamp heaven and earth, an invisible force bound the body. It seems that a strong malice passed from this world. This is exclusion from heaven and earth. It seems that swallowing the heart of the swamp, this swamp world can no longer tolerate me, this is to exclude me. Yi Tianxing didn't resist. The valuable things in the swamp world have been collected. Even the heart of the swamp has been swallowed and refined. There is no other benefit to staying here, except to continue to swallow the swamp silt. However, obviously, the swamp world will not let him stay. There was a flash of light. Yi Tianxing has disappeared from the swamp world. The whole swamp world regained its tranquility again, but the swamp heart swallowed was obviously not reborn in a year or two. To continue to grow, I'm afraid the speed will weaken a lot. Although the heart of the swamp is important, it does not affect the fundamentals of the swamp world. The essence of heaven and earth lies in the gossip platform. I actually came out. This is, standing on the gossip platform. What's wrong? Shouldn't it go into the other 8-phase world? How can it be sent directly to the 8-phase world? And, directly to the top of the gossip platform. Yi Tianxing looked around carefully. Repelled by the swamp heaven and earth, she broke away almost on the spot, then felt down to earth, glanced around, and immediately found that she really left the 8 phases of heaven and earth, and stood directly at the top of the gossip platform. That is above the 3rd floor. The position he is in is a bit of a gossip in gossip, which represents the position of the swamp heaven and earth. Can't leave where they are. Can't leave the redemption area. What's going on? I was ready to explore outwards, but as soon as I reached the edge of the position, a light curtain appeared, blocking the body, unable to cross, and even tried to test. The powerful physical force could not shake this layer of light curtain. Block your body completely in this area. There is something in the middle of this gossip platform. What is that? After discovering that there was no way to leave the area, Yi Tianxing did not continue to target that layer of light curtain. Knowing in his heart, He calculated his full strength, and I am afraid that he would not be able to break the light curtain. After suppressing the idea of leaving completely, then I looked carefully at the whole gossip platform. This gossip platform is huge. Seems like a huge platform. Under my feet, the mysterious gossip pattern is inscribed. It can be felt that at all times, a large amount of heaven and earth vitality converges from all sides, enters the gossip platform, and disappears. In the center of the 8 diagrams platform, a black and white yin and yang Tai Chi figure emerges. In the position of this Taiji map, a layer of black and white divine light emerges, and the yin and yang chi tumbles. www.novelhall.com. In the yin and yang chi, there seems to be treasures constantly rising and falling. There was a faint flow of unique air between the things, which seemed to give a mysterious feeling. That's definitely not mortal. It seemed that there was a heavenly girl dancing and there were all kinds of fairy music reverberating. Weather is endless. There are dragons and phoenixes playing and swimming. Looming. At first glance, it looks like a fairy treasure. Where is it? A certain fetish born in gossip Taichung? This is the most precious treasure. Yi Tianxing saw that he couldn't help secretly generating a shock. Such a treasure is definitely not leisurely. The treasure that may attract the phoenix is the one that exists in the yin and yang chi. That's a fetish. 8 gossip platforms can evolve into even 8 phase heavens and earth. There is even a treasure in the heart of the swamp. It is just one of them. The central yin and yang taiji position is the center of the gossip platform. It is definitely not impossible for the power of heaven and earth to create a treasure. Quote, at this moment in my heart, it was almost determined that it was a rare treasure. Chapter 287, 6 Strong. The third update is to publish the reader group. Those who are interested can add it. 4771234 VIP group. It may even be more than one. Unfortunately, in it is completely shrouded in yin and yang, blocking the sight. Coupled with the divine light and vision emitted by the divine object itself, it completely obscures its original appearance, making it difficult to see what it is from the outside. Instinct to cover up his own appearance. This point, even if Yi Tianxing probed with congenital yin and yang eyes, he could not get a glimpse into the mystery. But in this way, Yi Tianxing is more affirmed, and it must be some kind of treasure. In such a large tomb, the odds of giving birth to a treasure are too great. Feng Shui breeds creation, and this is the creation of heaven and earth. Too far away, there is a shadow of yin and yang, and there is no way to read the message in Wushu Tianshu. When there is no other way to leave the area, Yi Tianxing looked at other directions, and secretly guessed that if he wanted to leave, there was only one way, which was to wait until other monks appeared in other gossip positions. Kind of imprisonment. No one knows how long this process will take. I only appeared here after picking the heart of the swamp. I don't know if I can only be eligible to appear on this gossip platform if I take the core of the source. If so, the remaining 7 must be the top powerhouses. There was a hint of urgency in my heart. However, without hesitation, he stood directly on the gossip platform in his mind, and let the ancestor dragon in the body of the god swallow the vitality of the heavens and the earth into the spirit of the true dragon. Each chaotic dragon rune is easily visualized, engraved in the Shengquan, and entered into the chaotic dragon pool. Each additional one makes the chaotic dragon pool more condensed from illusion. This is how the runes condensed. The breath on my body became stronger. Moreover, the heaven and earth vitality on this gossip platform is extremely rich, absorbed, far beyond ordinary. Each breath, there is a new condensate of chi. Such a position, it is nothing but heaven and earth. Cultivation here is not as fast as outside. Time lapses quietly in practice. This feeling of cultivating in a strong environment of heaven and earth is really wonderful. People don't even notice the passage of time. If it wasn't for self-condensed runes, the mind and will in the body had been exhausted. I'm afraid I would continue to immerse myself in cultivation. Can't gather runes anymore. If the power of the mind is completely exhausted, once something goes wrong, there will be no ability to respond. Yi Tianxing did not forget where it was. When you feel your mind is on the critical line, you decisively end your cultivation. Open your eyes again and sweep around. In this regard, my heart could not help but jump, and sure enough, several figures have appeared one after another on the gossip platform. 6 figures have appeared, occupying the other 6 areas, plus themselves, there are 7. Only the last position remained without a figure. It's him, a peerless powerhouse with a knife. I don't know who he is. Gaze first looked above the dry position not far away. This represents heaven. The black swordsman I had seen before stood on it, but his clothes looked extremely broken. To be here, it must have experienced a brutal assassination. This is a strong man, and his accomplishments on the knife path are amazing. The sword, especially the sword drawing, is terrible. Practice sword drawing, with a bit of stubborn feet and a cold temper. Moreover, there are not many top swordsmen who have deep knowledge of knife path. The most likely one is Fu Hongxue, who only practiced one stroke in his life. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly in his heart. There was some speculation about his identity before, and it was Fu Hongxue's possibility. However, there is no other possibility. After all, in Wanji, countless people use knives, and they do not know how many are famous. Except for informal contacts, these are ultimately speculations. But who is this swordsman? He turned to look at another man standing in a bump. It was a man in black, with a cloak on his back, a cold body, and a war sword on his back. There was a sense of murder, and the cold air naturally overflowed from his body. From this, we can know that this young man must be stained with blood, and the faint sword sent out can let people know that this person's kendo the repair is absolutely not bad, and the sword should have already accumulated in the body. This is another top swordsman. However, the swordsman had not seen it before, and his body was not weak, and there was only a cold indifference in his eyes. Indifferent to is indifferent to everything outside. Don't care. That kind of indifference is as cold as a ***** of death. Swordsman, peerless swordsman, I don't know how many there are in the world. Incorporating into the eternal continent, it is impossible to guess which one this is. There are too many famous swordsmen. Too much to make Yi Tianxing countless. No matter who it is, it belongs to the human race. Yi Tianxing slowly looked back. Without hesitation, look again at the strong in other positions. In the quake position, it was a terrible figure, and it was the patriarch of the Scorpion clan. A burly body, a sloppy body, and a spear in his hand all exude a bleak evil spirit. The quake position represented Ray, and he even appeared here in thunder. This is absolutely terrible as an alien. How strong you are, it was just a glimpse of leopard in the past, it is difficult to estimate. The chief of the Scorpion clan, this will be a great enemy. I don't know if he has obtained the core of the source from the thunder and earth in his hands. Together, there is absolutely no room for euphemism. If you have the chance, you must kill this alien enemy. Humph. As if I felt Yi Tianxing's gaze, the chief of the Scorpion clan turned his head and looked at it, his eyes were sharp and his nose hummed. Obviously with a trace of badness. There is also a stone giant. Looking at another area again, in the Gen area, a very tall stone giant stood on it, carrying a stone stick, and stood in front of it, giving people an invisible pressure. The huge body, verily has great advantages. The gas giant of this stone giant is equally unfathomable and very thick. It's definitely not a fun thing if you fight it. Must be a terrible rival. Also, who is that person, who looks similar to humans, but feels different, and the atmosphere in the body is more human-like? Is it a certain unknown race? Yi Tianxing's eyes fell on Kun, where a man standing 2 meters tall, burly, wearing a beast coat, and carrying a tomahawk, looked extremely rough and exudes a look the wild atmosphere. After seeing it, it felt like a beast in human skin. This is definitely not an ordinary human race, and it may not even be a human race. It is a large race that is extremely similar to humans. Seems to see Yi Tianxing's eyes, turning his head, grinning, his eyes are full of excitement. The big man was also constantly massing other people, holding the axe in his hand, and dangling constantly, as if unable to control it with excitement. There was an urge to chop the axe out at any time. Even when he saw the stone giant, his eyes did not change. The desire to fight is very strong. This is a belligerent. It turns out to be a python. Look at another figure on the niche. That figure looked even more terrible. It was simply a python with a yellowish glow all over it, a slender body together, 2 huge eyes staring at the others coldly. Such a huge python, even if compared to the stone giant, has some shortcomings. The momentum emitted is very deterrent. At first glance, it looks like a terrible beast. Dry, Quake, Kan, Gen, Kun, Yin, Li, Wei, 8 directions, and now there are only off positions and no master appears. The barrier encirclement around remains, it seems, there is still a wait. But they have all found the treasure hidden in the yin and yang atmosphere. No accident, a killing is inevitable. Quote. Yi Tianxing looked at those figures, and almost every one of them looked at the yin and yang atmosphere in the center. Obviously, the treasure inside couldn't hide their eyes. In the face of Chongbao, no one can remain indifferent. He is also included. Everyone, since they all appear on this gossip platform, they all have the same combat power. Even if they are enemies, they are also entitled to know their names. Even if they die, they must be respected. If you die, you must know who died. Kill, you also need to know who killed. Do and be the unknown. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said flatly, I, the master of Xuanwang Town, Yi Tianxing. In words, he should first reveal his origins. Fu Hongxue. The swordsman in black just held the sword in his hand and quietly uttered a voice. It's really him. Yi Tianxing trembled secretly in his heart. He did not expect that the person guessing was really him. The swordsman who fully incorporated the knife into his life. I am Niu Ben for the Barbarian Tribe, www.novelhall.com. The burly man grinned, carried the axe over his shoulder, and shouted. Between the looks, the fighting spirit was high. Obviously, seeing so many strong people, he could hardly restrain the fighting spirit in his heart. Scorpion people, Scorpion Patriarch, Scorpion. The Scorpion Patriarch spit out a cold voice. There is evil spirit in the voice. A trace of cold, chilling. Oh, the yellow python roared from the sky. It couldn't say anything, but the roar made a powerful deterrent. The gaze looked at everyone with disdain. Without showing weakness. Shi Feng, Shi Ju spit out a voice. Chapter 288, Yi Bao Kiwei. For subscription recommendation, come with a monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. Step Jingyan, the young swordsman in black spit out a cold voice. There is only a kind of indifference in the eyes, a look of indifference to the whole world. Like the same soulless death. It turned out to be him, and he didn't cry to death. Hearing the name, Yi Tianxing couldn't help showing a hint of surprise. Who is Bu Jingyan? This is a peerless wizard. No matter whether he is a master of swordsmanship or a swordsmanship, he has extremely profound accomplishments, especially in kendo. He has a high level of talent. I don't know how much of the original Bu Jingyan now has. He was born in the Huo family. He should have practiced the Huo family swordsmanship since he was a child. He has also received the unnamed kendo tradition. He has also studied the inexplicable swordmanship, Yi Ju, and other top skills. If it grows up, its combat power can be expected. Especially in kendo, there must be amazing achievements. Can achieve extraordinary. Its talent in kendo is not inferior to Fu Hongxue. Prior to this, Yi Tianxing did not expect that it would be him. However, after looking at it a few times, I didn't think much about it. The most important thing now is the treasure that the central government has bred. No matter who it is, if you want to get it, you can't get rid of other people's interference. There is bound to be a fight. But here, plus myself, there are 3 human monks. In terms of quantity, human races dominate, but whether or not they can work together is an issue that cannot be ignored. Masters, my axe is already hungry. Niu Ben grinned, his excited body was shaking. I can't wait for a fight right away. To him, it is irrelevant to have a heavy treasure instead of a heavy treasure. The most important thing is that it is the most important thing to be able to have a lively battle. Everything else is trivial. Brush. At this moment, I only saw a figure appearing above the position. That figure looks a bit confusing. The height of the figure is very short, about 1 meter 4 or 5, but it has a rough body, a beard and hair, and a muscular body. Power, with a bronze hammer in his hand. Mysterious texture seems to be visible on the hammer. As soon as they appeared, both eyes continued to glance back and forth. Dwarf. Yi Tianxing saw a flash of surprise in his eyes. This kind of height, this kind of dress, appearance, the sledgehammer in your hand, and the explosive power of your body are all directly exposed. This is very likely to be a strong man of another big race, dwarf race. Generally speaking, dwarven people should appear in the West, but here, no accident, it should be considered that most of them belong to the Eastern world. Of course, it is normal for a few Western races to appear. The eternal continent itself is a fusion of countless fantasy worlds, and everything appears reasonable, but even if there are dwarves, I am afraid that there should not be too many. Who are you, so short? Gnome. The barbarian cow looked curiously at the dwarf and asked weirdly. Dwarf. When the dwarf heard it, his face became flushed, and 2 rough airs blew from his nose. He shouted, I am a dwarf, not a dwarf. I am a great dwarf, a red copper dwarf tribe, Copper Hammer. Obviously, seeing him as a gnome is a humiliation to him. Gnome, that's an insult. It really is a dwarf. When Yi Tianxing heard it, he nodded secretly in his heart. The dwarf people are short, rough, strong and brave. It is one of the best blacksmiths in the world to create wealth and become more proficient in manufacturing various weapons through this skill. The entire race has the racial talent to become a blacksmith and a craftsman. Quote, legendary dwarves can even create artifacts. Create a variety of powerful magic soldiers. Such a race is too blessed. Each has the potential to become a master blacksmith. I thought I wouldn't run into it, but I didn't expect to see it here by accident. From the body of this copper hammer, you can feel a powerful air machine. He is not weak, also has extremely strong combat power. Rumble. After leaving the position and belonging, suddenly, Yi Tianxing felt that a mysterious force emerged from the gossip Taichung without warning, and at the same time, a powerful suction was transmitted from his feet. Junqi and Shanhai involuntarily drew infusion into the gossip platform. This process is completely involuntary and there is no way to control it. In this regard, judging from the expressions conveyed by the other 7 figures, it is clear that the other 7 also encountered the same encounter. Swipe. And as they continued to infuse them with energy, on the whole gossip platform, one could see that the gossip patterns continued to shine brightly and completely become brilliant. At the same time, over the gossip platform, a stream of pure vitality swept through like a tide, forming a huge swirl of vitality in the sky. Continuously poured into the gossip Taichung. In an instant, gossip Taichung, one after another, continued to reject each other. Falling around each other and looking closely, there are 2 people, Yi Ziqiu and Flower Monk, who are forcibly excluded from the 8 phases. No, my sky lay, there are sky lays in it, why did you send me out? I just saw a bunch of sky lays, just to get there, why did I send them out at such a critical moment? My heart, it hurts. Quote. Yi Ziqiu made a scream in his mouth. The cry was like dead father and mother, with one hand around the heart, the painful face wrinkled together. Obviously, before being excluded, he was seeing a large number of babies. Unfortunately, it was not brought out, and the pain in his heart was conceivable. A large number of monks and aliens were rejected. However, at this moment, no one has tried to kill. Instead, they looked at the gossip platform. At this moment, the gossip platform has been shrouded in a layer of divine light, and countless heavens and earth vitality merges into it. You can clearly see the 8 figures standing on the gossip platform. This is the real opening of the gossip platform. The second layer is the 8 phases, and the third layer is the most mysterious place of the real gossip platform. However, this is what to do. Yi Ziqiu groaned inwardly, keep calculating in my mind. However, it is still impossible to speculate on what is going on and what purpose. Yi Daoyu, you see, the black and white light column in the middle is constantly floating, is it the precious treasure bred from this tomb? The flower monk saw a black and white beam of light rising from the sky in the center of the 8 diagrams terrace. Inside, a huge amount of yin and yang gas was tumbling, but it still covered up the treasures that did not live in the yin and yang air. However, only things inside can be seen outside, but there are a few specific things, but it is difficult to distinguish. Very weird. The divine light blooming from the inside can feel that the inside is definitely not an ordinary treasure. We're out of the game. It's impossible to fight. Now there are 8 people who are qualified to fight. No one but them can go up now. However, if Yi Daoyu is on top, we are not all. The army is gone. Quote. Yi Ziqiu looked at the gossip platform and shook his head. Look, what's that? The flower monk shouted again in surprise. Incidents occur again on the gossip platform. I only saw that the light of God was shining in all directions. On that dwarf's hammer, suddenly, a flaming heart flew from the body and suspended in midair. The heart seemed to contain life, beating and undulating, and every time it was undulating, a fiery flame was passed. This is exactly the same treasure as the heart of the swamp. Then, various other objects also flew out on other people. The heart of the earth, the eye of the fountain of water. Eyes of the wind, Lei Kai, Tianqin, mountain god seal. Pieces of heaven and earth and different treasures appeared one after another, shining with asterisk light on the gossip platform. But the heart of the swamp did not appear. That thing has been integrated with Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. Even the gossip platform could not pull the heart of the swamp out. As long as Yi Tianxing is unwilling, few people can strip the heart of the swamp. Sure enough, only the treasures born in the heavens and earth can stand on this gossip platform. Those heavens and earth treasures really have other uses. Yi Tianxing secretly gave birth to a hint of enlightenment. However, the heart of the swamp was not released. Just looked up at the picture in the void of the 8 diagrams terrace. How come, there are only 7 different treasures, and one more? It's Yi Tianxing. He didn't take out the treasure. Didn't he get the treasure? However, this is impossible. Everyone else has it. Why isn't he? If not, how could he stand on the gossip platform? The monks all around were surprised. At a glance, you can see the fault on the gossip platform. There should be 8 different treasures here, but there are only 7 in Yu reading. This seems a bit different. Even Fu Hongxue looked at them one after another. Obviously, I don't know what Yi Tianxing wants to do. Yi Tianxing didn't speak, just stood calmly in place. Brush. I only saw that the 7 different treasures in the void gathered together, and the divine light flowed and intersected together, and Xuan shot a faint gray divine light, bombarding it towards the center. That location is where the yin and yang air converges. However, this gray asterisk light fell into the yin and yang air, but it just caused the yin and yang air to tumble violently, and just after tearing a crack, it was immediately covered by more yin and yang air, and once again blocked the destruction of the gray asterisk light. Can't burst this yin and yang light. Release the treasure inside. It seems to be weak and weak. These treasures come together, and the power generated can break through the yin and yang. However, this is the last missing treasure. 7 eyes fell on Yi Tianxing at the same time. Chapter 289, Blatantly Take Advantage. Yi Tianxing, where is the strange treasure you got? Hand it over, break the yin and yang realm, and let Chongbao be born, and then we will compete with our own strengths and our own strength. In the past, no one should have thought about it. If you are holding on to not taking out the different treasures, is there any other plan? Quote. The scorpion sneered and looked at Yi Tianxing with a cold drink. Uncertainly exudes a provocative breath. Yes, brother Yi, take Yi Bao out and talk about that heavy treasure first. Stalemate is not a good thing here, I can't wait to fight a battle. Niu Ben also said with a grin. The axe in his hand was upside down. Oh. The python also stared at Yi Tianxing coldly, making a low hissing sound. Apparently, it seemed extremely impatient. Even Fu Hongxue and Bu Jingyan looked at each other. This behavior, which is different from others, will virtually exclude itself. Especially now, no matter who it is, he has curiosity and possession of Zongbao. If no one could get in because of Yi Tianxing, the consequences would be extraordinary. That is to become enemies. Yi Bao, I did get it. That one is called the heart of the swamp. Not surprisingly, it is the core of heaven and earth just like the 7 other treasures in front of me. However, I really see and take that heart come out. Yi Tianxing said in a deep voice. Something strange appeared in his eyes. No emotions on his face. Since you got it, how can you not get it out? Are you playing with us? The scorpion asked with a sneer. Disbelief appeared in other eyes. The heart of the swamp has been incorporated into the magic weapon and cannot be separated again. Naturally, it can no longer be taken out. That strange treasure has become a part of the destiny. How do you want me to take it out? Yi Tianxing said calmly. What? Smelting into a magic weapon, how can it be done in such a short time? Copper Hammer said something unbelievable. He is a top blacksmith, and such a treasure is definitely not that simple and easy to refine. Even if Yi Tianxing arrived at the gossip platform before them, it didn't make sense to completely refining in such a short time. Yes, if you don't want to take it out, just say it, don't talk about these lies that can be seen at a glance. The scorpion said clearly disbelieving. He will thoroughly melt a strange treasure so quickly, and he will never believe it. You can't believe it, but there is nothing you can do, but the heart of the swamp has indeed been incorporated into Yi's destiny. This is the pagoda. Yi Tianxing looked indifferent, and thought, only to see, Hanmeng Tiandi Tower already appeared in the palm of your hand. The 6-tiered pagoda exudes a hint of magical light. You can tell at a glance that it is definitely not mortal. The mouth said, but his eyes had a different look. Gaze at the 7 treasures in the sky, with a hint of inexplicable charm. Vaguely, the breath of the swamp heart in the pagoda was released. Ding ding ding. This silk machine was revealed. Suddenly, the 7 strange treasures in the sky bloomed with more intense light at the same time, transmitting attraction force, making the pagodas be vibrating and making a crisp sound. It really is the breath of heaven and earth. The heart of the swamp is really smelted into the pagoda. No one here is a simple character. Naturally, she can detect the connection from the air machine passing through the pagoda. Yi Tianxing did not lie to them. The heart of the swamp was really refined into the pagoda. In this situation, everyone's heart sank and his face became dark on the spot. How could he never expect such a thing to happen? This is too ridiculous. At this step, it would be inexplicably blocked here, and even Chongbao could not see anything. Isn't this a joke? It's just a pitman. The heart of the swamp is no longer there, it is not the original treasure, it has been completely smelted into the pagoda, and I have no way to separate again. Yi Tianxing shook his head and said, your pagoda can be connected to the 7 different treasures in the sky. It must be connected to air and air. Maybe it can replace the original marsh heart and work together to break the ban. Send your pagoda up. The scorpion offered again. This is no longer the heart of the swamp. If I send it, what should I do if there is any accident? This is my destiny and my life is connected. Besides, what happens if I send it up and cause damage to other strange treasures? No one can guarantee this. Quote. Yi Tianxing flatly refused, an expression that will never be easily agreed. This is normal for any monk. His destiny is precious, his life is linked, and he is cultivated, and it is all integrated with the essence and blood of the gods. No one can easily put their own destiny in danger. If the original marsh heart was nothing, now it has been refined, and no one knows what will happen. If it is good, everything may be normal, or if it is not good. Who is responsible for the damage to the natal treasure? Who will be responsible for any other problems? This question lies directly in front of others. The scene suddenly became silent. When you send the pagoda, what will happen if you say that, no matter if my strange treasure is damaged or the pagoda is damaged, the chances are the same? You get the heart of the swamp. Since you have refined it, you can't change this fact. You can't avoid it. No matter what the result, we accept it. Hurry up, let's fight. Niu Ben gave a loud scream. Yelling, yes, what are the consequences? Everyone recognizes, as long as there is a chance to break the ban, you can try. The scorpion also said loudly. In this regard, even the python nodded and agreed. I have no opinion. Copperhammer nodded and said, this is the only way. Fu Hongxue and Bu Jingyan both nodded and agreed. The stone giant did not say a word silently, and did not voice any opposition. There is no objection, that is the default. Humph. Yi Tianxing snorted in his nose, showing a little dissatisfaction. In my heart, I sneered secretly. Okay, what I want is what you said. I still wanted to get these strange treasures, but now they are delivered directly to the door. What is really going to happen? No wonder. Me. All this was already planned in his heart. A plan came to mind as soon as the changes in the gossip platform were detected. Go with. The surface appeared dissatisfied, but he reluctantly released the pagoda, and the pagoda appeared in midair under a strong attraction. Gathered with those strange treasures, blooming a bright light. It seems that Qi machine is really connected to each other. The blooming divine light became more intense and bright. Brush. Suddenly, it can be seen that all 7 different treasures started to rotate around the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower, and without any warning, the heart of the earth turned into a streamer and rushed towards the pagoda. No, what's the situation? A real change has occurred and I don't know what the consequences will be. Seeing the change in midair, all the powerful people on the gossip platform have changed their faces. You must know that there is a strange treasure of its own. If there is any damage, the loss is really too great. However, in the process, they couldn't interfere with the abnormal change at all. No one knows whether this is abnormal. This is still the case. Ding! Hongmeng Tiandi Tower was suddenly shocked, and suddenly a section grew up. From 6 to 7, open up a space inside the tower again. This time, there was an extremely heavy, gravity-filled Earth's gravity space. Well, the more you come, the better. Yi Tianxing saw that his face was horrified and worried, but there was an ecstasy in his heart. He just wanted to take this opportunity to completely devour several other exotic treasures together and smelt them into his own pagoda. Silently swallowed up all the other treasures. My heart of the earth. Niuban saw and couldn't help yelling. Not just the heart of the earth. I only saw that the heart of flame was also submerged in the pagoda. Divine light flashed on the pagoda. If there is life, increase 1 more section. The ventilator becomes thicker. Followed by the fountain of water. Eyes of the wind, Lei Kai, Tianqin, mountain god seal, submerged into the pagoda in turn. Almost every piece of it adds a weight to the pagoda, and the emitted air machine is deeper. With continuous engulfing fusion, the entire Hongmeng Tiandi Tower has reached 13. Coupled with the original heart of the swamp, the heaven and earth bred from the 8 phases of heaven and earth were all incorporated into the pagoda. gathering the power of the origin in the entire 8 phases. And after all the different treasures are integrated into it. I only saw that in the gossip platform, a huge and powerful force was transmitted and gathered on the pagoda. Suddenly, it seems that Bhagwati has identified the pagoda as the fusion of 8 different treasures. Boom! The power of the entire gossip platform converged on the Hongmengtiandi Tower, www.novelhall.com. At once, the entire pagoda burst into countless light, and mysterious runes flashed on the tower. All of a sudden, under that power, they banged towards the area where the yin and yang air converged. This collision immediately gave off a huge roar. It can be seen that a large amount of yin and yang gas is broken apart, like a lake, and it is scattered around. Countless yin and yang gods are flashing. Okay, it's really a fusion. Anyway, if you lose a treasure, as long as you can break the restrictions and get a treasure, it's all worth it. Everyone else felt that the heavenly treasure was swallowed up by the pagoda one after another. Heartache, sorrow and anger. However, when it was found that after the complete fusion, the pagoda even hit the yin-yang area directly. Immediately she was overjoyed and gave birth to a strong expectation. Zongbao, the treasure that can be bred here is the most precious thing. It is acceptable to lose a treasure for this. Chapter 290, Zhenwang Jewel. Boom! Driven by the blessing and control of the gossip platform, the power of the 8 different treasures instantly gathered on the Hongmengtiandi Tower, and finally, they smashed into the yin and yang restricted area. At this moment, the power erupting on the pagoda was very amazing. Suddenly, the entire column of yin and yang was forcibly broken apart, and a yin and yang air kept flying around. Swept across the entire gossip platform. Countless light flashes. In front of him, it seemed to be completely covered by black and white light, and nothing could be seen clearly. But these are not problems for Yi Tianxing. 2. The congenital yin and yang eye itself is the origin of yin and yang. It has an insight into yin and yang, and it has no effect on the yin and yang air. Almost instantly, it can be seen that 2 strange treasures emerge from it. All are shining with the magical treasure light, thousands of spirits enveloping in the ***** light. After discovering that there were 2, I didn't want to think about it. With a moment of thought, an invisible force had been transmitted in the pagoda, and one of the heavy treasures was put into the pagoda in an instant. All this, in the yin and yang riots, filled with black and white light everywhere, except for Yi Tianxing, almost no one can reach. Start silently. This is long to say, but it's just a blink of an eye. On the gossip platform, all are strong. Although the irritated eyes could not see clearly for a while, they also recovered in an instant. This process was not even a second. You can see that the yin and yang restraint has been broken, and the barriers that have restrained everyone have also disappeared on the gossip platform. Zongbao, really is a treasure. A piece of jade, black-yellow jade, what is this thing? The flower monk also saw an object inside, and could not help but exclaim. The air machine emitted from that treasure jade is very amazing. You can see thousands of qi, not ordinary things. I have never seen such a magical treasure jade. The legendary He Shijun is the best in treasure jade. Now this one Baoyu is definitely not inferior or even more amazing than he's by. Chongbao, this is definitely Chongbao. On this jewel, there is a Daoan inscription. Born by nature. It seems to give birth to a dragon. Quote. Yi Ziqiu should stare out of both eyes. What he saw inside. He saw a dragon, a lifelike true dragon, in the dark yellow gem. This discovery is simply amazing. Incredible things. Xuanwang Baoyu. When the scorpion saw it, he uttered a loud drink. At first glance, this strange treasure was not ordinary, and her heart suddenly moved. It really broke. Fu Hongxue was also secretly surprised. I saw with my own eyes the mysterious Huang Baoyu that emerged in the yin and yang air. There was a burst of fiery heart in my heart. The treasure is definitely a heavy treasure. It can be said that this piece of Xuanwang Baoyu completely condenses the essence of the entire gossip platform and the power of creation in this treasure of feng shui. Brush. Yi Tianxing actually retracted the Hongmengtiandi Tower directly into the body at the first time, and the pagoda turned into a streamer, which quickly broke. Now that you have it, leave it for me. The scorpion saw Yi Tianxing's move to take Hongmengtiandi Tower back, and he was very polite. Many pairs of strange feet danced under his body. The speed was fast, and his lance speared toward the pagoda like lightning. This shot directly cut off the return of the pagoda. Secretly sneered in his heart. Swallowing up my treasure, obviously get great benefits. This pagoda is the destiny of the treasure. If you let it go back, it is not the enemy. First destroy this pagoda, cut off ye one arm of heaven. It's too late to get back to the pagoda now. Not only the scorpion, but only saw that the python had moved, the body turned into a streamer, a snake tail filled the void, and one tail politely beat it towards the pagoda. Obviously, the plan is the same as that of the scorpion. The destructive power that has just erupted from the pagoda can be felt even if it is motivated by the gossip platform. The potential of this pagoda is horrible. There were only 6 floors before, and now all the strange treasures have been absorbed and transformed into 13-story pagodas. This transformation is obvious to all. There was no plan to return the pagoda to Yi Tianxing. Court death. Yi Tianxing saw that there was a flash of cold light in his eyes and a loud drink in his mouth. Puff. When the voice fell, I immediately saw that in the pagoda, a bronze war spear shot straight out. When it appeared, it bombarded the magic scorpion in the air. A spear broke, as if in the first time, the magic was completely locked. Scorpion. Another flash of divine light, a sword of war flew from the tower, brought out a sharp sword light, turned into a giant sword, volleyed to the section of snake tail. It seems that a sword to cut off the snake tail directly. The magic scorpion responded extremely quickly. I felt the powerful prestige that broke out from the war spear. I didn't even want to. The wrist trembled, the spear was swung across the spear, and a huge roar, the body there was a trembling violently, and the spear was disintegrated. Ding! On the other side, the battle sword with a sharp sword light chopped with the snake tail. The snake was covered with fine snake scales. A yellow light appeared, with violent power, the battle sword was chopped on it, and even Mars burst out. A layer of yellow light appeared stiffly, blocking the edge of the battle sword. A blast sounded in the void, and the snake tail was also war sword. The explosive power in the middle was blocked off. This is long to say, but it actually happened in the blink of an eye. Court death. I only heard a crisp sound, and immediately saw that Fu Hongxue took a step forward coldly, with a long knife in his hand. Surgery. Pulling it out with a single knife, a sharp breath of death burst out in the knife. It was a terrible knife that wiped out everything. It was fast, accurate, and fast. It was beyond description. Swipe past. Fast. It's too fast. Ordinary monks can only see a knife light slicing towards the demon scorpion. In fact, they do not know that this knife light is basically the afterimage left by the poor vision. The knife is already so hard to capture by the naked eye. It is almost indescribable. You really have to watch Daoguang to react, and you are already dead. Ding. However, the reaction of the magic scorpion was equally astonishing, as if it had a natural instinct. The scorpion tail reaching out stabbed out in front of it, and the needle of the scorpion tail flashed a dark cold light. In front of him, the knife was cut off. But the power of terror made the scorpion back again. The sharpness of the sword was tearing the void. All human races should die. The scorpion looked at Fu Hongxue, his eyes were cold. Chang 1. Fu Hongxue didn't move at all. In his hand, a long knife went into the sheath and then came out of the sheath, and a knife beam split into the magic scorpion. The sword is sharp, the sword is vertical and horizontal, and the cut is the deadly key. This is a deadly attack. Come on, fight together. Niu Ben's eyes were fiery. The warfare on him was completely unstoppable. Holding the tomahawk politely, he slashed at the stone giant beside him. When you wave, you can see the muscles in your hand surging like a dragon, and the violent power is undoubted. Can clearly feel the sharpness from the tomahawk. The stone giant didn't hesitate, and smashed at Niu Ben with a stick. Kill. Bu Jingyan didn't hesitate, the sword in his hand came out of the sheath, and a sword stabbed at the python. The position of the stab is exactly the 7-inch position of the python. Whether it's a snake or a python, it can't get rid of its 7 inches. That is the fatal weakness. Unless transformed into a dragon, completely transformed. But even if it is transformed into a reverse scale. A sword waved, the sword light flickered. Roar. When the python saw it, the cold murderous intention appeared in his eyes. The body twisted and twirled together instantly, the huge head suddenly opened, and a mass of yellow liquid was sprayed out. As soon as this liquid sprayed out, it was like the heavenly girl scattered flowers, quickly covering the cloud of step shock. Not only step Jingyan, even the other monks are no exception. Covers almost the entire gossip platform. Venom, this is covering everyone. Seeing the copper hammer, his face was black. Is this python going to hit it all? Do not want to think, the light flashed on his body, the vindictiveness appeared outside the body, and turned into a layer of body protection. The wisdom of this python is not low. Even if the calculation is very clear, all on the gossip platform are all opponents and enemies. They are competitors for the treasure. No matter who they are, they will eventually become enemies. The venom emitted this time was unceremoniously covering everyone. Brush. In the process, Yi Tianxing has taken the opportunity to retract Hongmeng Tiandi Tower and repress it in Shanghai. Just urged under the pagoda, most of the qi in the body has been consumed. The power needed to spur the pagoda is too great. It really works, and the time it can support is very limited. At this moment, the venom had appeared outside. Yi Tianxing saw that without hesitation, the dark armor was covering the whole body again, and a layer of body protection really appeared outside the body. www.novelhall.com. The venom fell on the body protection body, and immediately felt, the movement of the body Shinji seems to become jerky. A layer of yellow light covered it, and a layer of yellow stones appeared, as if the entire body of the protector had been attacked and began to turn into a stone. All the protectors of Shinji are petrified. This venom can petrify people into stones. Yi Tianxing felt secretly in his heart. The body's vital energy runs continuously, and the petrified part is continuously broken directly, covering the true essence of the body again, and the power from the venom is worn away. Watch. The stone giant stepped in the venom, and the venom fell on him. It had no effect on him. His body was a stone. For him, petrification was useless. Holding a stone stick, a stick smashed into the python. On the gossip platform, a fierce assault suddenly broke out. 8 figures, almost no fixed opponent. Just killed with the python, and killed another monk the next moment. Chapter 291, 7-Star Coffin. There was chaos all over the gossip platform. The aftermath of agitation during the killing instantly stirred the disintegrating yin and yang air constantly rolling. However, there was a sign that the yin and yang tumbling turned toward the center again, and the yin and yang qi continued to converge, becoming more and more dense around Xuanwang Baoyu. Not good. Once the yin and yang gas converges again, the ban may be reformed. During the slaughter, it is not that no one noticed the change of the yin and yang gas, and the yin and yang gas did not disappear. It was just broken and scattered on the whole gossip platform. Once there is no power to stop it, it will converge again. The surname is Yi. Quickly take your destiny to treasure, take out the pagoda, and break down these yin and yang qi again, otherwise, no one wants to get the treasure. The scorpion shouted with a sneer. Obviously, the yin and yang energy was also reunited. Once they overlap, it's really a big deal. Well, the power of the yin and yang in the realm of the yin and yang just broke down completely by the power of the gossip platform. If you want me to take a shot, it is absolutely impossible to suppress the yin and yang gas. Just that blow is the only chance. Quote. Yi Tianxing said indifferently, it can be seen that there is already a strong layer of yin and yang gas covering Xuanwang Baoyu again. To get it, you must first tear the yin and yang gas. Not to mention, the yin and yang surroundings are gathering fast. Poured into it, Baoyu kept rising and falling in it. Roar. The python heard and knew that, with Yi Tianxing's strength, it would definitely be impossible to urge the pagoda to collapse the yin and yang air once it was completely restored and reverted to the former yin and yang boundary. That treasure is really no one can get. Now is not the time to fight. Robbing the treasure is the most critical thing. After making a sound of death, he turned and flung towards Xuanwang Baoyu, and Zonko was swallowed in the stomach together with the yin and yang qi. Don't fight now, there will be no chance in the future. Boom. But the python just rushed out, and when his head appeared in front of the mass of yin and yang and Xuanwang Baoyu, he felt his tail was grasped by 2 big hands. When he looked closely, he was hugged by the stone giant. In the back, he shoved. With a bang, the python hit the ground, and a crackling sound was heard from all the bones. Let me come. Only in my hands can such a precious jade create the most exquisite artwork. The bronze hammer is hot, and he also wants Xuanwang Baoyu, which is the most advanced material. He believes that the best top treasure can be cast. The others did not show weakness, and rushed straight up. Congenital yin and yang eyes, devour. Seeing each one competing for Xuanwang Baoyu, Yi Tianxing stood on the side without movement, but in the first time, his eyes turned black and white, as if there were 2 swirls in his eyes, passing a wave devouring force. This kind of traction has a fatal attraction to the yin and yang surroundings. Swipe. A rush of yin and yang rushed towards Yi Tianxing, plunging into their eyes at an alarming rate. Enter into the yin and yang space. These are not ordinary yin and yang qi, but created by heaven and earth, gathered together by the power of gossip platform, and bred from the yin and yang original qi. It can even be called congenital yin and yang, which came into my eyes. Suddenly, there was a violent vibration in the whole yin and yang space. All innate yin-yang qi gathered in the innate yin-yang ***** map. Turned into the mysterious power of the source, toward the yin and yang lock, yin and yang scissors, yin and yang mirror into the mirror. This kind of original power can only be accumulated in the past, and desperately strengthened the foundation and gave birth to new magical powers. But at this moment, they are all politely integrated into the various magical powers that have been bred. It's not that easy to transform and promote the magical powers. The consumption required is really too great, but the innate yin and yang bred here is simply too strong. If it is not used, it is violently destroying heaven. If I miss this opportunity once, I don't know if there is a second one. The attraction of congenital yin and yang eyes to the yin and yang air is like the beauty to the satyr. It was violent at once, rushing wildly towards Yi Tianxing. The boiling yin and yang gas radiates countless gods. The confluence of yin and yang seemed to crush everything into pieces. In a blink of an eye, a huge vortex formed. Bang bang. Yi Tianxing did not forbid moving. Instead, he walked quickly towards Xuanwang Baoyu's location. Everywhere he went, the yin and yang swirls outside him followed closely. On the spot, the powerful such as Python and Magic Scorpion forcibly collapsed and flew around. Standing in the position of Xuanwang Baoyu. Standing still. Promote innate yin and yang ***** images in yin and yang space. During the rotation of the ***** figure, a large number of innate yin and yang gases are continuously gathered in the yin and yang space. He was absorbing the yin and yang. How could he have this ability? The scorpion's complexion looked at Yi Tianxing, who was standing in the center of the gossip platform, with a coldness in his eyes. Okay, it's really interesting. Even the yin and yang qi can absorb refining. If it's peculiar practice, there are other secret techniques. However, the more yin and yang qi absorbed, it is also a good thing to stop the yin and yang. Gas converges and the ban is restored again. Quote. Niuban was surprised to see Yi Tianxing standing in the yin and yang vortex. But this is a good thing. No matter how Yi Tianxing absorbs the yin and yang gas, it is all his skill. No one is envious of it, and, in this way, sooner or later, the yin and yang gas will be completely absorbed. No longer afraid that Xuanwang Baoyu would be imprisoned again. However, the magic scorpion and the python looked at Yi Tianxing, which was completely enveloped by the yin and yang air, and showed a strong intention to kill. It can absorb the yin and yang gas, and it is conceivable what kind of growth will be brought to Yi Tianxing's strength. This will be a terrible enemy. Ding ding ding. In the yin and yang space, the 9 yin and yang locks are all shaking, with bright black and white light shining on them, and a yin and yang pattern is engraved on it. With the integration of the yin and yang origin, the divine light emitted on the 9 yin and yang locks is getting stronger and stronger. Each yin and yang ring emits a jade-like light. The magical powers born out of fate are naturally only Wangji magical powers in the beginning. Only through continuous tempering can it be tempered more powerfully, and even reach a certain level and get transformed. This is the water milling method day after day. The other is to get the original thing that matches the source of life and consciousness. Celestial treasures, smelt in. This method requires opportunity and consumes resources. Today's innate yin and yang energy is the origin of yin and yang. For yin yang ming chao, it is an incomparable meal. Just on the gossip platform, while suddenly silent. No one knows, at the moment deep in this fairy tomb. On a platform, it was only seen that there were 7 bronze coffins standing on it. The platform is large and an altar appears on it. On the altar, there are 7 bronze coffins. The most important thing is that these 7 bronze coffins are bathed in the light of the stars. Emanating from the burst of light, the power of the stars fell into the bronze coffin. Disappeared, the 7 dangerous copper coffins are like bottomless pits, and the wanton whale swallows a lot of star power. If you look closely, you can see that the positions of these 7 bronze coffins are very different. It looks strange. Puff. On this silent platform, I only saw a crack appear on the ground, and a hole emerged silently. Then, a head with its head wrapped up came out of the ground, 2 eyes quickly glanced around, and immediately found out that no one else, carefully drilled out. Suddenly, a man wearing a black mouse suit and holding a loyang shovel in his hand stood on the platform. Bronze coffin. Okay, I dug for so long, I worked hard, and finally dug to the place where the tomb is located. Other places can be abandoned. The tomb is the most important treasure place. This grave robber is like the grave robber who opened the grave road and dug in directly. As soon as he came in, he found that the tomb was not simple. It's just that the organs make up for it. There are many dangers. From other places, he has to dare to pass by. It's definitely fierce and bad. He is quite proficient in feng shui. Otherwise, you can't find this fairy tomb. Although there are countless dangers, it is absolutely impossible for him to retreat. At that time, he came up with another shortcut, which was to use the Loyang shovel in his hand to dig down from the underground of the ancient tomb again, forcibly digging a graveway to the location of the grave chamber. If ordinary grave robbers do this, there will be only one consequence, and that is a dead end. You have to know, www.novelhall.com, this is a treasure of feng shui. Where does feng shui come from? The entire area of the tomb is covered by the force of feng shui. There is no problem in entering the ancient tomb normally. You must dig the feng shui treasure again. This process is actually fighting the entire feng shui. Will be backwashed by the power of feng shui. That process is absolutely certain. It will be buried directly in the ground. Any grave robber, as long as he has experience, will not do that. But the tomb thief did just that. His reliance was on the Loyang shovel in his hand. This was not a Loyang shovel that was cut through, but a treasure of heaven and earth. The grave can be dug directly from the feng shui land without touching the feng shui array. That's how you can dig all the way to the area of the tomb in front of you. The 7-star bronze coffin. It is actually laid out in the direction of the 7-star, and it can also attract the power of the 7-star. Whose grave has made such a big handwriting? Isn't it just a place of feng shui feng shui? Who is the owner of this tomb? Quote. The tomb thief looked at the 7 bronze coffins shrouded in rich starlight, and his eyes suddenly showed horror. Chapter 292, Sneak the Dog. Kixing Coffin, Burial of Heaven Officials. The spirit is broken, the star official returns. The horror appeared in the eyes of the tomb thief, and a thought suddenly appeared in his mind. It was from an ancient rumor. According to legend, the 7-star coffin was not an ordinary coffin, but a coffin in which the heavenly officials were buried. Moreover, they are not dead, but sleepy. Conceived by the power of the stars, they are already heavenly officials. As long as the 7-star coffin is opened, the corpses inside will be resurrected. Become heavenly officials. Whether this legend is true or not. The 7-star coffin is an extremely curious coffin. The ordinary grave robbers are absolutely afraid to open it. Once it is opened, no one knows what happened. According to legend, if you encounter a 7-star coffin, and you do'n't hold back the greed in your heart, you won't have any more. After leaving the tomb, they were buried one by one. Therefore, when the 7-star coffin was seen, and it was obvious that a star-like light was shining on it, the horror appeared in the heart of the grave robber. The body became stiff at this moment. I didn't expect it to be a 7-star coffin, but who is buried here? The 7-star coffin must be buried after the death of the person who has a connection with the tomb owner. Otherwise, there is no connection, and if luck is not connected, it is a pendulum. There are no 7-star coffins. Did the host's family have killed 7 people in a row? Quote. The grave robber murmured to himself, looking at Kixing coffin, his body was a bit cold and cold. However, it would be even worse for him to just watch and stay empty-handed. This is even worse. He was going to find the treasure in the tomb. How can you watch it without getting it? This is the most terrible torture in the world. No matter what, now that you are here, you need to get something out anyway, otherwise, I will really become a joke. Without a baby, how can I live my life in the future? My old Lu is so good. It is also a royal bloodline. Even in the eternal continent, you must dig a beautiful future. I have already inquired that there are many villages and a town in the vicinity. As long as I get a fortune, I can go to town and live a good life. Quote. A look of firmness appeared in the eyes of the robber. Obviously, he had already made a secret decision in his heart. Even if it was a 7-star coffin, he had to open it, and it was necessary to open it. It would be a shame for him to return empty-handed. He is the ancestor of the grave robber. Don't think that the 7-star coffin will be able to hold me hard, but I awakened the lingering life tactics, and all the coffins can be opened. Even the fairy coffin, I can open it. Suppressed 2 or 3 times. I can only open 2 or 3 mouths in a 7-coffin coffin. What I can get depends on my luck. Be sure to win. Quote. The lingering mark of the grave robber's eyebrows became more and more obvious. This tactic is the root cause of his strong self-confidence in grave robbing. There must be no hesitation in my heart. Quickly walked towards the platform and looked at the 7 bronze coffins. Because it was made of bronze, you could not see the contents inside, and even wanted to open it, it was not easy. But that doesn't bother him. The most important thing now is to choose the copper coffin. There are no contraindications to the funeral of the funeral. A toast was heard from the grave robber. On the lingering mark on the eyebrows, the divine light flickered. Suddenly, a lingering lamp appeared in front of it. This lingering lamp looked like a work of art. The shape of the lingering lamp looked similar to a lotus lamp. But above it, the figure of the worship of all spirits emerged. As soon as the lamp appeared, it fell directly towards a bronze coffin. Ding! The coffin lamp fell on a bronze coffin, and the light immediately enveloped the entire coffin, and the prayers of worship for all souls could be heard. This light completely covers the entire copper coffin. Make the surroundings sacred. Open the coffin. The lingering light seemed to shine directly into the entire bronze coffin. The coffin's obstruction in front of the lingering lamp had no effect and was nothing. A toast was heard from the grave robber. The seemingly heavy bronze coffin lid was forcibly opened by an invisible force when the voice fell, and it was pushed back suddenly. This process, without reaching out to push at all, is a natural process. It seemed as if an invisible hand was pushing the coffin. This is the power of the lingering lamp. Spirit lamp, worship spirit. There is a cause and effect with the coffin master. This cause and effect allows him to take away some treasures from the coffin. In the process, the owner of the tomb will not be alarmed, which is equivalent to a transaction. And it is a deal that has to be accepted. As the coffin was opened, the grave robbers immediately stepped forward, but when they looked into the bronze coffin, a look of suspense appeared in their eyes. The original anticipation disappeared completely. I just felt that there were 10,000 old hens dancing in my heart. How could it be, my treasure? Why would it, be a chicken? Grave robbers are simply going crazy. Anyone who sees the picture in the bronze coffin will be like him. In it, there is no gold or silver treasure, even strange treasures to be used for burial, or even the human body. Yes, just a chicken. It really is a chicken. Who would have thought that there would be a chicken in the coffin without a human body? Is this a joke? Who would put a chicken in the coffin? Mausoleum burial is a sacred thing, and no one will bury a chicken in his own grave. This is not an ordinary chicken. I am afraid that this tomb is thousands of years old. In the bronze coffin, there is no decay, but it is lifelike and even angry. This feather, this shape, looks like a legendary colorful chicken. In the legend, the chicken the best of it. How could it appear here? But is it a bit too funny to bury a colorful golden pheasant in a 7-star coffin? Quote. The grave robber almost felt like a dog. It's incredible. A colorful golden pheasant is buried in the Kixing coffin. Is there anything wrong with this? Moreover, he felt that the colorful golden pheasant in the 7-star coffin was still alive. No matter, if you open the coffin, you can't go home empty-handed. This colorful carnivore is alive. This is a rare treasure. If it can be cultivated, it will be a great wealth. This colorful carnivore, I want it. Quote. The tomb robber saw the colorful golden pheasant lying in a 7-star coffin, more than twice the size of an ordinary domestic chicken. With a bite of his teeth, he cruelly grabbed it out and held it in his arms. This chicken is the booty. If I open another coffin, I don't believe it, and there will be a chicken in it. I don't believe it, I can only catch chickens here. There was a tinge of light on the grave robber's face. Quickly restore the 7-star coffin. Afterwards, a magical lamp condensed again and appeared on another coffin of 7 stars. Open the coffin. When the lingering lights completely shrouded the bronze coffin, they drank again. Click. The bronze coffin was opened again. This time, the grave robbers clasped their hands together and muttered something in their mouths. It looks like praying to the gods. Hope not to see a chicken again. If it was a chicken, he would go crazy on the spot. Come on, give me a bunch of exotic treasures, so that I can live a happy life, and I will come to worship often in the future. I will give you a longevity tablet. Do ent chicken, I do ent want chicken. The robber murmured to himself. Then he carefully looked at the probe in the coffin. At this point, the face of the tomb robber was completely black, and the black mouse clothes worn on the black body were just a color. Nothing special. Planted on the ground on the spot. Both feet were still twitching. Looking up at the sky, an unlovable expression. Oh heaven, earth, Would you like to play with me like this? Just opened a coffin and opened a chicken, but now it is a dog. What is it doing? Say I stole the chicken and touch the dog. This won't be the owner of the tomb left to tease me. The grave robber frowned. Dog, the coffin is not a chicken, it has become a dog. Now he's really upset the dog. The strength of the whole body seemed to disappear completely at once, disappeared, and ceased to exist. As if thundered, he didn't believe it. I can't believe my eyes at all. He even saw a chicken and a dog buried in the kissing coffin. This dog is still a piebald dog. It was blinding his eyes. 7-star coffin, this is not easily created by the aristocracy of the king. Which one is lying inside is not distinguished. Such a coffin was lying in by a chicken and a dog. Subvert the sacred tomb in his heart. This is simply heartbroken, unacceptable, there is simply no way for him to accept this fact. He felt that he had lost confidence in the tomb robber. Is the ancient tomb now so poor? Without the gold and silver treasures, there is a chicken and a dog in the coffin. Is this a disgusting grave robber? He feels bad for himself. Snapped. But, www.novelhall.com, after a while, he got up, with a smirk on his face and said, do not do 2 or 2. Today I want chickens, and dogs, too. Dare to ridicule me for stealing chickens and touching dogs. I really stole the chicken and touched the dog, and I can keep it in the kissing coffin for so many years. Even a dog will become a fairy. Quote. With that said, he grabbed the piebald dog with one hand, grabbed the colorful golden pheasant with one hand, and took a hard look at the other coffins. He was able to open another mouthful, but now he doesn't want to touch a coffin. It's all chickens and dogs. Wait for a pig. Is that ridiculing that he is a pig? Do not open, firmly do not open. The owner of this tomb is definitely the nemesis of the grave robbers. It's amazing, he will never be fooled again. Leave you. The grave robber sneered fiercely and quickly left the platform along the grave road he dug. Chapter 293, Wake. The method of this grave robber excavating the grave was very clever. Coupled with the different treasure Loyang shovel in his hand, it is like a tiger adding wings. In this tomb, it is free to shuttle and walk away underground, almost no one can detect his appearance. Quickly walked away, this time he did not intend to continue. In this fairy tomb, he felt a kind of thick malice against the tomb thief by the tomb owner. Who knows what this is? 7 mouths and 7 stars coffin. If there were some pigs or cows in it, he felt like he would collapse on the spot. The outlook on life will be completely destroyed. There is no way to recover. It's terrible. This is a torture of a grave robber. Even if the archaeologists encountered something like chickens, dogs, pigs and sheep in the 7-star coffin, they would completely collapse. Thoroughly doubt life, doubt history, and wonder if your eyes are out of order. Grave robbers who left quickly didn't know. When he left, below the kissing coffin, a larger bronze coffin was hidden in the platform. Standing in the center of the 7-star coffin, with the power of the vast stars. Inside the bronze coffin, you can clearly see that a middle-aged man wearing a white robe is lying inside. The man's appearance is still lifelike, still not a little stiff, and without any death, but his face is red and tender, and the surface of his skin there is a layer of crystalline light, and it looks like fairy. It can be seen that in the bronze coffin, an elixir that is as bright as jade is appearing on its head. It can even be said that it is not ordinary elixir at all, and it can be seen in the elixir that it appears like a baby. Figure. Exudes strong spirituality. It can be seen at a glance that this is not ordinary elixir. A kind of Danelling has been born. This kind of elixir is definitely not an ordinary elixir. Only truly elixir can be born. Once it appeared, it was an incredible elixir. Real rare treasure. Has inestimable value. At this moment, I saw that the elixir was completely submerged in the middle-aged man. At the moment of entering the body completely, we can see that all kinds of visions are transmitted outside the body. Vaguely, it has become completely different. After the elixir was completely swallowed, its closed eyes slowly opened. What kind of eyes are these? Deep and calm, various emotions flashed inside. It seems that the various pictures are flickering in the eyes. Unconsciously, his eyes had calmed down. Gaze seems to penetrate all obstacles and see things outside. My chicken, my dog. My Shaosai and Shalwa were stolen. Who did it? The middle-aged man seemed to suddenly see something incredible, and his face was full of coldness, but then frowned. The royal blood of the Liu family. When did the old Liu family actually become a thief and stole my head? I am also the ancestor of the Liu family. That filial son and granddaughter did such a dirty job of stealing chickens and dogs. Quote, but forget it, since it is the descendants of the Liu family, it will be to find Shaosai Shalwa in the future. After discovering that the person who stole his baby chickens and dogs seemed to be his bloodline descendants, he shook his head slightly and did not investigate further. He believed that he could still be reunited with his chickens and dogs. This is beyond doubt. Well, there are so many grave robbers breaking into my tomb, and they have also entered the gossip platform. It's interesting. The guillotine was conquered. It seems to be a very good executioner. Forget it, the guillotine. Unknown, that thing, hate me, take it away. Quote, this gossip platform also gave birth to strange treasures. This feng shui treasure land is truly extraordinary. Is that treasure jade a heavy treasure, Xuanwang Baoyu, Xuanwang mother gas bread a treasure? It is indeed worthy of the dragon's mouth. The sky should be a star. Good practice is a rare treasure. Quote, the eyes of the middle-aged man seemed to fall on the gossip platform. A good pair of yin and yang eyes, these innate yin and yang qi really gave him a rare fortune. However, it would be good to end the farce. There is a ban on heaven, and I can't be born. In this case, seal the tomb. The middle-aged man calmly glanced at everything that happened in the tomb. Seal. A cold word came out of the middle-aged man's mouth. This word appeared directly in the entire tomb of the Immortal, passed into the ears of every monk, and even penetrated directly into his mind. What a voice, how can I hear someone talking? Feng, who said it, echoed throughout the fairy tomb. It is incredible that a monk can have such a powerful strength. What does it mean? Who is talking? I feel that voice comes directly into my mind. In an instant, all monks' faces were full of shock in the entire tomb. In this voice, I can feel a vast and boundless breath, that kind of air force. People seem to have no sense of resistance, as if mortals face the towering peak. A small feeling naturally emerged. No, I feel a force pushing me out. What's going on? My body can't move. What's going on? Is it some kind of prohibition in the tomb of immortality? This power seems to be sent out. What the asterisk is going on? A monk's face changed dramatically. However, no one could resist that power. Under this power, the strange shape disappeared, and I didn't know where to go. No, this should be the hidden strong man in the tomb shot. Is it the owner of the tomb, Huainan King Luan? When Yi Tianxing heard it, he also felt an invisible force appeared outside him. Repel yourself directly from here. As soon as I realized this, I didn't want to think about it. As soon as I reached out, I grabbed the nearby Xuanwang Baoyu politely. As soon as my heart moved, I was sent to Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. In this process, the flowing clouds were as fast as lightning, and there was almost no hesitation. Under instinctual action, Zanhuang Baoyu was put away. But this scene did not hide other people. The monks standing on the gossip platform all witnessed Zanhuang Baoyu's behavior of being taken away by Yi Tianxing. There was a strange light in his eyes. Close, close, close. However, for Yi Tianxing at present, it has no impact at all. The Hongmeng Tiandi Tower has been released for the first time, held in his hands, and moved with a heart, and delivered a powerful impertinence from the tower. Consumption, like the tide, crazed the massive innate yin and yang air around the pagoda. The yin and yang air entered the pagoda, immediately absorbed by the inner space of the pagoda. Yin and yang, the mother of all things. For the new world, that kind of attraction is really too big to be irresistible. Moreover, this is the innate yin and yang. Even more unimaginable nutrients, big meals. As soon as they entered, they were swallowed up by the space inside the tower. Each path contains incredible power. It can be seen that the space inside the tower began to explode like crazy. The inch-by-inch land is madly derived, the space is expanding, the earth is thickening, and even a little vitality appears, and lakes and creeks appear inside. Countless runes were flashing on the pagoda. Okay, the parts that cannot be refined by congenital yin and yang eyes are the same as being integrated into the pagoda. As long as the pagoda can be transformed and the space inside the tower is completely stable, and the power of the heaven and earth inside is strong and sufficient, when the pagoda is displayed in the future, I need to consume a lot of my own cultivation as a true spirit. With the power of the pagoda itself, the pagoda can burst into a powerful destructive force. At that time, it is the time when the pagoda truly exerts its supreme power. Quote, Yi Tianxing's heart was fierce. The greatest use of these congenital yin and yang qi is naturally to temper the congenital yin and yang eyes, strengthen the origin of yin and yang, and quench the innate magical powers of the yin and yang eyes, but at this moment, when you feel that you want to be excluded, try to plunder as much as possible. A lot of yin and yang is the most important, the others are secondary. The transformation of the pagoda also has endless benefits to itself. The most important thing is that the current pagoda is in a state just born. There is no way to easily use the power of the heaven and earth in the pagoda. You need to motivate it with your own energy. UCA and use the true power of the pagoda. Once you wait for it, if the space inside the tower is completely stable, when you can use the power of the source, you can urge the pagoda without the need for your own vitality. When the idea moves, the pagoda will be crushed, and the space inside the tower will be crushed together. At that time, it was truly overwhelming. Where would it be like now? Just use it casually, and you will consume most of your energy. Can only be used to suppress Shanghai. Therefore, now, as much as you can plunder as much yin and yang as you can, regardless of whether it will be wasted or not. As long as it can strengthen the origin of heaven and earth, dare to do anything. Brush. These are long to say. www.novelhall.com, it's just in the blink of an eye. Almost instantly, with the power of Hongmeng Tiandi Tower, he forced the remaining half of the yin and yang gas to devour and plunder it. The entire pagoda is glowing. But in these few breaths, Yi Tianxing also felt that the force of repulsion became stronger again, and could no longer be blocked. The light flashed in front of him, and he had been sent out of the grave without mercy. Xuanwang Baoyu. There was something strange in the eyes of the middle-aged man. Yi Tianxing directly took Xuanwang Baoyu's move and made him a little dissatisfied. Then he shook his head. He couldn't leave the tomb. When he couldn't move, he had left the tomb. There is no way to do anything else. There are fixed numbers in the heavens and the earth. Forget it. It seems that the piece of Xuanwang Baoyu is not owned by me after all. It is already lucky to be able to refinish the elixir. You can't ask for extra treasures. Please wait until later. After speaking, the middle-aged man closed his eyes again. The stronger star power poured into the bronze coffin. Chapter 294, on the spot. At this moment, outside the tomb. The original hole location, a large number of monks came together. Looking at the robbers one by one and preparing to continue, the treasures contained in the tombs of the immortals are, for many people, absolutely imaginable. What's going on? Can't get in. A man is riding on the back of a sow that looks very strange. You can see that this pig is really not ordinary. It is colorful and looks like the flower girl. The most weird thing is that on its butt, really just as a blooming chrysanthemum, it is very tempting. And a pink nose. It is very large, more than half the size of an ordinary sow. Not inferior to war horses. The most important thing is that a pig is covered with a battle armor. Of course, it is not appropriate to say that it is a war armor, but it is still made from the skin of a ferocious beast. I'll give this pig the momentum of a war pig. Don't stab a sword on the side of this war pig. The man was tall and mighty. He would rush into the robber's hole, riding on the chrysanthemum pig under him. However, it was found that an invisible force appeared strangely in the robber's hole, preventing people from stepping in and crashing out on the spot. This has not happened before, it just happened. Very strange. This made all the monks all around be shocked. However, wait for them to show surprise. I saw that every figure flashed out of nowhere, and appeared strangely all around. Many people can see blood on their bodies and wounds, and they can see at a glance that they have experienced a fierce assassination. Look, these people, who seem to have been in the tomb before, are out. Yes, I recognize part of it. It is indeed a monk who went directly into the tomb. I have seen the stone giant with my own eyes and was very impressed. It is definitely not wrong. This is the person who originally entered the tomb. Is there something wrong in it? Quote. The surrounding monks' eyes were unexpected. They all saw a large number of monks who had originally entered the tombs excluded. This situation is obviously not the normal way out. It was sent out collectively. It seems that there is another mystery in this tomb. There must be an old monster hidden in it. There is a 90% certainty that it is Luan, the king of Huainan. However, what is the strength of Luan? Is he an immortal? Immortal, in what realm is on the eternal continent? Quote. Yi Tianxing also repelled the first time, landed nearby, looked at the robbed hole, and thought secretly flashed in his heart. However, I was very excited by what I got this time. I can only see that the yin and yang space in my eyes has transformed again. The 9 yin and yang locks are glittering with a crystal-like luster, and the flashing black and white rays are more intense and condensed. Road pattern. Vaguely, the emitted air machine has undergone a fundamental transformation compared with before. And on the mouth of the yin and yang scissors, the two strange pythons that originally appeared turned out to be two black and white gods. The scales on the body were lifelike, letting people see, giving an unspeakable shock. The subconscious gave birth to a shudder. The flashing sharp edge of the scissors became even more terrifying. Then there is the yin and yang mirror. Not only does the yin and yang mirror become more condensed, the road pattern outlined above becomes more mysterious. It looks like a perfect artwork. At a glance, you can feel the power contained in the yin and yang mirror. Xuanji, all Xuanji magic. The benefits obtained this time are too great. The innate yin and yang energy that has been accumulated for thousands of years by the gossip platform is an inestimable wealth. Under the tempering of the yin and yang, regardless of everything, the stubbornness will be born in the eyes of yin and yang. The three supernatural powers bred were all tempered to the metaphysical power and transformed into supernatural powers. The power of magical powers increases with geometric multiples. The gain is huge. Yi Tianxing asks himself is inestimable. Look at Hongmenshindi Tower in the body. A large amount of innate yin and yang air was incorporated, and the consequence was that the space inside the tower began to grow and expand rapidly. Each Tao contains unimaginable pure power, and even the law of heaven and earth. Embed in. Let the 13th pagoda, the space inside the tower skyrocket. The chaotic space has transformed into a size of 100 miles. The space inside the other towers all reach the size of a 100-mile circle. Let the origin of heaven and earth in each space of the pagoda skyrocket instantly. This can already be called the real cave sky space. The space inside the tower is completely stable, so that the gas engines emitted from the pagoda become deeper. It seems that it contains unimaginable power. Of course, the price paid is that the massive innate yin and yang energy swallowed from the gossip platform is completely integrated into the pagoda, not even one is left. You know, this is the most congenital yin and yang bred in the tomb of the Immortal, so it is swallowed up by the pagoda. If it is other cave space, I am afraid it will skyrocket thousands of miles. Unfortunately, the pagoda not only has space inside the tower, but also chaotic space. The chaotic air in chaotic space is the true source of all things. Even if it is the congenital yin and yang air, the chaotic air will not be too much. In terms of quality, it is not comparable to ordinary space. Even so, the space inside the tower was completely stabilized. More than 10 times more powerful than before. Not to mention, the treasures harvested this time. Just thinking about it, Yi Tianxing felt an unspeakable joy in his heart. Roar! Just then, a gust of wind blew across his face. All I saw was that a giant python opened its mouth wide like a lightning bolt and opened its mouth toward Yi Tianxing, biting his eyes cold and fierce. Yellow python. Yi Tianxing's face changed, and it became very ugly. He sneered and looked at the python that had been killed. He sneered, "Do you really think that Yi Tianxing has a good temper? I didn't make a shot before, it was because I wanted to touch the fish in muddy water, and kept a low profile. Do you really think I am a bully?" Quote. Boom. As soon as the voice fell, Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate anymore. He stepped on the ground with his right foot, and the entire body suddenly flew under the huge force transmitted by his feet. He flew in the air, facing the mouth that the python had killed. It was easy to avoid, and the body appeared directly over the python. The body fell like a shooting star. A foot stood on the head of the python. With this step, the blood in the body rolled, and a violent force poured out instantly. More than 90,000 pounds of power poured down his head like a tide on the python's head. The python was caught on the spot, and only felt a horrible force crushed down, as if it was hit by a meteorite. The whole head involuntarily smashed down. In a huge roar, the python's head really hit the ground forcibly, and the ground cracked. The python's mouth bleeds. You can even hear the sound of broken bones. Almost completely fainted. But the python is a fierce beast in the end, and it is a second-order fierce beast. It has a powerful physical body and is equally powerful. A combat instinct can make the python react in the first time. Tianxing beat up. This wave looked terrifying. The body that is hundreds of meters long is daunting. That power, when it was beating, the air passed out a suffocating breath. The snake body alone is several times larger than the adult body. Kill. The snake tail that whipped over was terrible, but Yi Tianxing sneered with a fist and banged unwillingly towards the snake tail. There is no change, just such a straight fist hit. On this punch, the blood rolled, and the space under the punch was shaking. It seemed that a thunder could be heard. Boom! A terrible roar erupted during the collision, a wave of aftermath swept out, the surrounding vegetation was shredded and shattered, and even the ground was scraped of a layer of ground. Yi Tianxing's body shook slightly, but the snake tail collapsed and flew out. There were scales that broke down and shot out. The power bursting out of the python was not weak, but still frustrated in front of Yi Tianxing's fist. But the gap is not close. Yi Tianxing's speed of shot was too fast, and the fight was as if entering a terrible situation. His face was cold and his eyes were quiet. As soon as he shot, there was no plan to pause. At the moment when the snake's tail broke apart, he moved again, stepped on his foot, stepped on the snake head again, and then saw that the snake head that had just been lifted hit the ground again, and Yi Tianxing had already stepped on this step and flew in the air. Instantly appeared in front of the snake tail. With both hands, he held the huge snake tail unceremoniously. Boom! Feet fall to the ground, as if rooting. After embracing the tail, a majestic force swept out of the body. Into his arms, the powerful physical power erupted completely. Crackling, both hands trembled, a powerful force ran along the arm and entered the body of the python. This trembling, we can see that the snake's body of the python is like a wave, followed by the fierce and crisp sound of bones, as if the whole body's bones were completely shaken by this shaking. The entire snake body was completely slumped to the ground. Then, even more terrible things appeared in the eyes of a large number of monks. www.novelhall.com. I only saw that Yi Tianxing grabbed the tail of the snake, and his body rotated like a gyro. This rotation was more like holding a python, especially this is not a simple rotation. While spinning, grab the python and smash it down to the ground crazy. Once, twice, 3 times, ... It can be seen that on the ground, the python's body was smashed incessantly, and cracks appeared on the ground, like spider webs. Everything around it seemed to have suffered devastating damage. Countless scales are constantly falling out. In each breath, the python slammed the ground dozens of times, and in just a few moments, it whipped the python towards the ground hundreds of times. The ground was smashed and collapsed on the spot. Flesh flew. If the body of this python was extremely powerful, I was afraid that it would smash the body into a mud. Chapter 295. I am waiting. But this python's body is really too powerful, with a layer of yellow light instinctively covering his body, making the body more tough and defensive to an outrageous degree. With such fierce slaps, the python did not completely collapse. Roar! The python seemed to be awake from the constant impact, snarled, yellow light appeared on the body, and a crack suddenly appeared on the ground. At the opening, the python turned and went into the ground. Want to escape? Come out for me. Yi Tianxing saw that a sneer appeared in his eyes, and he struck the python out of the hole again with a force on his arm. Roar! There was a fierce light in the eyes of the python, and when it was pulled out, it roared, and a yellow light spread out like a tide. In close Yi Tianxing in yellow light for the first time. Gravity. Yi Tianxing felt a strong pressure appearing silently on his body. There seemed to be a mountain rolling on his body. He directly drilled into the body, applied it to the body, and passed it to the internal organs. Normal monks can block the body. The 5 internal organs will be crushed on the spot. Suffering heavy blows. This gravity appeared extremely suddenly, even if it was Yi Tianxing, the body couldn't help but shake. But immediately resisted by the force transmitted from the flesh. This bit of gravity couldn't hold him back. Battle spear. A flash of light flashed in his hand, a bronze war spear appeared in his hand, and between his arms, the war spear flew out of his hand as if it were a flying spear, bursting out of the air. There is a sharp spear of jade in the spear. On the tip of the spear, the sharp edge was swallowing. The location where the war spear was striking was the 7-inch position of the python. The python obviously felt a deadly threat, and wanted to avoid it, but the speed of the war spear was too fast, it was too difficult to capture its running trajectory, and of course, no need to know. At a glance, you can see that this war spear is coming towards your 7 inches. But these are useless. It found that it couldn't be avoided at all. The speed of the war spear is too fast. When he was too late to respond, he had already appeared outside the body and could no longer avoid it. A layer of yellow divine light emerged from the python, and the scales on his body were flashing yellow light, and his defense was fully exerted to the extreme. Puff! However, these are not useful. Under the spear, in front of the broken jade spear, and under the power of the heaven and earth in the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower, the sharp edge of the war spear has completely reached an unacceptable level. That layer of yellow light burst on the spot, and even the scales did not have much resistance to the war spear. Breaking through all the defenses, penetrating directly through the body, and inserted into the 7 inches. The violent power, spear, followed the war spear and rushed into the python. Roar! The python screamed a scream of despair in his eyes, with despair in his eyes. When he was hit by a key, he clearly felt that the vitality in his body was rapidly dissipating. The crux of the snake is 7 inches. Hit 7 inches. One strength, completely disappeared. It's as if you lost your power altogether and you can't do anything more. In the roar, despair and unwillingness passed. Prior to this, I never thought that Yi Tianxing's body would contain such incredible power, which could be comparable to the fierce beast, and even the second-order fierce beast would be killed by the higher order. The python looked back at Yi Tianxing, and there was hatred and fierceness in those eyes. But then, the light in his eyes began to dissipate quickly. The spear that penetrated into the body, especially directly into the 7 inches, has completely exterminated all vitality in the body. Vicious and overbearing. Brush. The python fell to the ground motionless. Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate. With a wave of his hand, he collected the entire python into the pagoda. This is a beast, and it is a second-order beast. A python is definitely the best ingredients, brought back with such ingredients, can certainly cook the best cuisine. How can it be wasted? The slightest waste is a crime. From the beginning to the end of this battle, the time it takes will definitely not exceed 3 or 4 minutes. Each collision is between electric light and flint. It is as fast as lightning. As soon as you fight, you have to die. Decide on the winner. Quick, so fast that many monks were too late to react, and the whole war was over. But the violent killing picture still imprinted in the minds of every monk, and felt an unspeakable shock. It was very strong to see that the python was actually killed by a monk. Some people are so scared they can't even close their mouths. Just now, a python was killed that way. This is not an illusion. I also saw that the momentum from that python was too horrible. I felt that in front of the python, it was like a broken ship in the sea, and it would be overturned by the tide at any time. It was definitely not a first-order monster. I suspect it is a second-tier fierce beast. That's a monk at the level of life and consciousness. It was just killed. Quote, "It's such a violent game that you can pick up the python and smash it directly to the ground. Is this a barbarian? How can physical strength be so powerful? Is this a joke? Who is this person?" Yi Tianxing, Lord of Xuanwang Town, I know him. I saw him in the Longmen Inn. I didn't expect his strength to be so horrible. It was terrible. When he tried to kill him, the breath he showed was simply people. Suffocation. Even the courage to look directly at him is gone. Quote, a monk exclaimed subconsciously. Some people recognize Yi Tianxing's identity, and they are secretly surprised. Rumble. Ground vibration. It can be seen that a scorpion warrior keeps drilling out of the ground. The scorpions stood in front of each other and gathered, and the number of these scorpion warriors increased rapidly. Yi Tianxing, hand me that piece of Xuanwang Baoyu. That is the best sacrifice for the devil. If you dare to say half a word, then I will let you know how powerful my scorpion army is. In the presence of the army, completely shredded. Quote, the scorpion sneered and looked at Yi Tianxing. Even if she saw Yi Tianxing forcibly killing the python, she did not shrink back. His confidence is his own strength, as well as the huge scorpion army behind him. He has the confidence, and in the presence of the army, no force can stop it, and all will be crushed. This is his confidence in facing Yi Tianxing. The army is also part of his strength. On the battlefield, there is only life and death, and nothing else. Scorpion, today I won't fight with you. If you want Xuanwang Baoyu, then come to Xuanwang Town to find me. Where will I wait for you? I wait for you to kill me and see what you have. Let me surrender the treasure. Quote, Yi Tianxing heard, coldly spit out a voice saying, what about the treasure I got, and how about Xuanwang Baoyu in my hands? I have the strength to occupy the treasure. I can get it, that is my own ability. You, if you want it, you can trade it for life, fight it, kill me, Xuanwang Baoyu is yours. If you can't kill me, then you must be ready to run down my blood in Xuanwang Town. Quote, in words, show no weakness. In a word, that is war. Who is afraid of whom? Brush. A moment of thought. The space gate turned into a streamer from Hongmeng Tiandi Tower and appeared outside. This space door is shining with silver white light, which is an amazing ancient door. It is filled with silver white light, and it seems that there are mysterious swirls inside. Lead to distant areas. I want to completely break through your Xuanwang town, all human beings in it will die. I want to make Xuanwang town, the grass is not alive. The magic scorpion saw Yi Tianxing even opened the space door, his face turned black, and he roared. I am waiting, Yi Tianxing sneered without looking back. Wait for me, Yi Daoyu, I'm Ziqiu. At this moment, two figures popped up next to each other, not Yi Ziqiu or the flower monk. When I saw Yi Tianxing leaving, I could sit anywhere, and I rushed towards Yi Tianxing. Brush. Yi Tianxing paused, watched the two approached, and took them directly into the space door. With a flash of silver light, the three figures disappeared. Even the space door disappeared. As if it had never appeared before, but it was true that Yi Tianxing disappeared. Space gate, teleportation. I didn't expect that he still had such a whole card in his hand. However, if he ran now, he can't run away in the future. Xuanwang town must be destroyed to get Xuanwang Baoyu. Do you want your life? You know how many. Don't just say that it's just small cities and towns, even if it's a real ancient city, don't want to survive. Quote. The scorpion saw a cold look in his eyes. The appearance of the space door made him want to leave Yi Tianxing's intention to completely immerse himself. However, he did not intend to give up. This time, he will not be the only one who is competing for Xuanwang Baoyu. The hidden powers, beasts, monsters, and other races do not know how many. In order to treasure, no one will give up easily. He can imagine that Xuanwang town will not have less trouble next time. www.novelhall.com. The entire Xuanwang town will become the center of a storm, which will be destroyed at any time and completely destroyed. Turn into powder. Chang Bao's temptation is really too great. The mysterious Huang Baoyu is not ordinary at first glance, and no one will give up easily. Go to Xuanwang town. The scorpion sneered at Yi Tianxing's original standing position, and then shouted, and a large number of scorpion warriors entered the ground again and disappeared quickly. Even the entrances and exits were sealed. They leave. Around the monks, there was an uproar. The domineering lord of Xuanwang town. He dared to make such a sound to the scorpion people. Then, it's really degassing. Our people also have forces that are not afraid of aliens. Some monks said excitedly. I'm going to Xuanwang town. Such a mayor can definitely lead a different people and open up a land of humanity. This time there must be a battle. I will go to Xuanwang town to help. As a human being, I must do everything. Apart. Quote. Chapter 296. Xuanwang is heaven and earth. Suggest for subscription recommendation, a few monthly tickets come, the end of the month. Close black lens bracket. Some people saw the conflict just now, they saw Yi Tianxing's arrogant attitude, and his eyes suddenly glowed with fiery light. Xuanwang town, when most places were just villages, Yi Tianxing had already established towns. This kind of heritage has surpassed most people, even dare to make such a provocation to the scorpion. It can be seen that its own heritage is also quite confident and powerful. Many of the monks here are casual. Originally, there was no fixed place to stay, either to survive in the wilderness or to stay briefly in a village. There was no resistance to the idea of going to Xuanwang town, or even living in the town. Many people have heard of some strange things in Xuanwang town, and they are looking forward to going to the town. The blood in many people's hearts has not been wiped out. Seeing that there will be a slaughter between humans and aliens in Xuanwang town, many people have already made a decision as soon as possible. To go to Xuanwang town, for nothing else, just to give the people a breath and kill more an alien, let out a sigh of relief for the people of the tribe who died in the hands of the alien. Xuanwangjin. Fu Hongxie stood aside, and a strange light appeared in her eyes, then she stepped up and left, looking at the direction to go. It was Xuanwang town's location. Xuanwang town, it's worth going to see it. The heavy treasure is in the hands of the human race. In any case, it cannot be obtained by the alien race. Bu Jingyan looked up at the sky expressionlessly, and finally left. Interesting, is this going to be a big war? How can such a lively thing be without my old cow? Go and see. Niu Ben grinned, and left with an axe. Not only them. In the bright and dark places, the monks rushing towards Xuanwang town are not few. In the darkness, a pair of eyes disappeared, and there are not a few aliens hiding in the darkness. At this moment, the name Xuanwangjin is completely remembered. No one knows what will happen. Many people know that I am afraid that there will be a terrible storm soon, sweeping thousands of miles around the area. The center of the storm is Xuanwang town. This time, no one knows whether Xuanwang town can survive. A bad one must be the tragic end of the town. The war is about to erupt. It is definitely the most massive and tragic war since the birth of the Eternal Continent. It may even be the first major war between the two forces in the Eternal Continent. Of course, it may not be. After all, the Eternal Continent is vast and no one knows how wide it is. I don't know how many weird things happen every day. There are countless kinds of killings. Perhaps many Tianzhou in the original world have died silently in some corner. These are not impossible, and perhaps there are already many amazing battles taking place. But it is undeniable that this is the most powerful war in the vicinity of thousands of miles. Many people will never miss such a war even if it is for the excitement. It is even more worrying whether Xuanwang Town can resist the invasion of foreigners. We must know that different individuals fight against each other in war, compared with the overall strength. In the face of a true elite, individual strength will be suppressed unless it is already able to turn things around and push everything else, otherwise the strength of the army is unstoppable. No one knows whether Xuanwang Town can stop such an alien army. At this moment, Yi Tianxing still appears in Xuanwang Town. The space gate is integrated into the Hongmeng Tiandi Tower. With the transformation of the pagoda itself, this strange treasure is also transforming. At the beginning, when Huang Jia Yipan was only able to move within 10 miles, the pagoda was greatly benefited this time. The space gate has also been transformed, and the distance of the shuttle can be expanded at once, and it can be shuttled to 20 miles in an instant. The power to open the space door does not need to be paid at all. With the power of the heaven and earth in the pagoda, it can be easily opened. As long as it is not too frequent, it can be fully opened multiple times. In order to save time, along the way, relying directly on the strength of the space door, continuous shuttle, it was entered into Xuanwang Town in the shortest time. Appears in the backyard of the mansion. Jingchun. When Yi Tianxing arrived with Yi Ziqiu, he shouted directly. Old slave is here. Cao Zhengchun had already stepped out, and when he saw Yi Tianxing, he immediately respectfully agreed. Take the two Taoist friends to rest first and treat them well. Yi Tianxing looked at Cao Zhengchun and nodded with satisfaction. Yes, Cao Zhengchun said without any extra words. Yi Daoyu, monk, wait a moment and talk about it. It is afternoon and I will take a tour of Xuanwang Town with the two at night to enjoy the night view of the town. Yi Tianxing smiled with a touch of shock on his face. They said. Yi Daoyu was busy in advance. We were not in a hurry. We were physically and mentally tired in the ancient tomb. We just took a break and waited for the night to enjoy the night view of Xuanwang Town. Yi Ziqiu turned back and laughed quickly. For Yi Tianxing, some were just deeply shocked. Just kidding, even a powerful alien treasure like the space door can be possessed. This kind of background is really terrible. You must know that this is the legendary alien treasure, and you can open it at will and shuttle the space again and again. This process is almost the same as dreaming. That feeling is really indescribable, and I feel more and more that Yi Tianxing has a thick mist on his body, full of mystery. Can't see clearly. Pop. Cao Zhengchun clapped the room, arranged for two people to take Yi Ziqiu away, and each room was arranged for a rest. You go and tell Huang Lao, Master Lu, all the principals in a 2-room, 6-room, come to the hall to discuss. I will go later. Yi Tianxing spoke again. Yes, the old slave will do it. Cao Zhengchun heard that there was a strange color flashing in his eyes. He was not an ordinary person, but he had been trained in the court. From Yi Tianxing's behavioral words, he immediately felt a kind of wind and rain. It seems that something unusual happened. Then he left respectfully, and informed his men to start sending orders separately. Cao Zhengchun is really worrying. Yi Tianxing took a deep look at Cao Zhengchun, and had to say that he is a very comfortable person to use. Yes, it is indeed a talent, no matter what kind of infamous history he has, but he cannot deny the ability to control the entire court in the hands is absolutely impossible. At least beside him, Cao Zhengchun did a good job. Know the advance and retreat, understand the scale. Observing and watching, there is extraordinary talent in serving others. Throughout the house, he was well organized. Save him not knowing much. There was no small change in Cao Zhengchun's senses. This is a new world, and the characters in history cannot be seen with the old ideas, let alone whether history is true or not. Without much thought, time is running out. After this time, the entire Xuanwang town will certainly usher in a huge crisis. Will definitely become the target of aliens, even caring people. This time he got the treasure, it will definitely arouse the ambitions and desires of countless people. Come on, this time it is a crisis. It may not be an opportunity. As long as I support Xuanwang Town and win this war, it will definitely bring unprecedented expansion. Fame and strength will completely erupt. There was a touch of indifference in Yi Tianxing's eyes. Without hesitation, he turned into the quiet room. Not to mention anything else, this time the seizure of heavy treasures directly offended a large number of strong men, and even many aliens, and virtually pulled countless hatreds. Secretly don't know how much more snooping will be. Only hope for the treasure. It really has the qualifications and value to make yourself pay this price. The hearts of the treasures received are also full of expectations. Walked into the quiet room and closed the door. With a moment of thought, a piece of dark yellow gem has appeared in front of him. I only saw that this piece of jade is not small at all, the size of an adult's head, and it looks similar to an irregular sphere. But the most amazing thing is the life-like true dragon that emerged from Baoyu, which is really a dragon, and can feel the vitality and spirituality emanating from the true dragon. This is the dragon spirit, soul, and even a true dragon. Dark yellow true dragon, let the whole piece of jade be full of mystery and honor. Such a precious jade, even an ordinary person can see, this is not a mortal thing, and it is definitely an invaluable treasure. Its preciousness cannot be imagined. It's worth it. This piece of Xuanwang Baoyu is worth it enough to make me take any risks for it. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath. Although I don't know the true mystery of this piece of jade yet, www.novelhall.com, but this appearance is enough to let any monk strongman fight desperately. Blood stained the earth. Wordless Heaven Book. With a break in my heart, the wordless Book of Heaven has appeared in my hands. In the wordless book, the invisible power has covered the entire piece of Xuanwang Baoyu. Open the Bible. On it, a paragraph suddenly appeared. Xuanwang Baoyu. The rare and precious treasure that was born in a special situation is composed of Xuanwang Mother Gas in the geomantic treasure land, endless creation, heaven and earth power, and Baoyu has bred the true spirit and dragon spirit. For the peerless gods Shenjun. The value is inestimable. Among them, the true spirit, once transformed, can be transformed into a true dragon, and Xuanwang will not destroy the true dragon. Can refine the national artifacts, suppress the national movement. For the supreme treasure, it is rare in rare worlds and rare in all ages. Xuanwang Qi is the heaven and earth, the husband Xuanwang Hu, the heaven and earth are also mixed, the heavens and the earth are yellow. For the origin of heaven and earth. Only when the heavens and the earth are developed can they be conceived and born. In the chaos, the earth are opened, and the black and yellow are immortal and immortal. Xuanwang Mother Gas, heavier than heaven and earth. Endless power, born to be invincible, immortal. Chapter 297, Wangxian Dianfeng God List. The world has opened up, and the amount of Xuanwang Qi that has been bred is limited. Xuanwang Mother Gas is even more precious. Only when the real top world is opened up, it is possible to be born, and it must be born under a certain opportunity. The reason why Xuanwang Mother Gas is precious is not only that it is stronger and more pure than Xuanwang Spirit, but also because Xuanwang Mother Gas can absorb the vitality of heaven and earth. In the years, it has given birth to a new Xuanwang Gas, which requires no help. Only when the world is created can it be born. You can imagine the preciousness. Xuanwang Baoyu, born from Xuanwang Mother Gas, is even more invaluable. Precious to the point where it cannot be added. Sure enough, it is a treasure. This piece of Xuanwang Baoyu should be extremely rare in the entire eternal continent. Xuanwang Baoyu has the ability to suppress the gas transportation and the national transportation. The most suitable is to refine it into the town's jade seal. Quote, now it is just a town, but I have also embarked on the road of condensing luck. A town is not a national dynasty, but this is the first step out of repairing luck. Even the quality of Shancheng has not been reached, is it? Those who are qualified to start the country are not qualified to develop the Yun dynasty. But now it is the foundation for the future. The Great Wall is not built in a day. Sooner or later, I will embark on the road to establish the Yun dynasty, but now it directly solves a problem in the future. Quote, Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and looked at Xuanwang Baoyu in front of him. The excitement in his heart was inestimable. Indeed, the current Xuanwang town can only provide Yi Yun with one person. Because he is the master of Xuanwang town, even if they are Huang Lao, they are the main managers in the town, they still cannot enjoy the blessing of Xuanwang town. But there are hidden benefits. This is also normal. The Great Wall was not built in one day. Only by continuously expanding Xuanwang town and opening up the Yun dynasty, those backbones who follow oneself can get blessings from Kian, and really get infinite benefits. Of course, it is not bad now. Eternal coins can increase the cultivation like the blessing of air transport, and its efficacy is not bad. Yi Tianxing is not like those in the novel. It can be crossed at the beginning. After crossing, it can have a supreme identity. It is not a contemporary emperor or a prince. Once he inherits the throne, he can open up the dynasty and control a large number of areas. Population, many cities, countless villages. And he can only move forward step by step. If it is only at the town level, a large number of subordinates can be blessed by air transport. That is a joke. The air transport generated by the territory and the population cannot be supported at all. It was just daydreaming. This daydream is still beautiful. This piece of Xuanwang Baoyu is already an unexpected surprise. I don't know what the other one will be. Being able to conceive with Zhan Wang Baoyu in the yin and yang atmosphere and get the heaven and earth to create it will certainly not be inferior to Zhan Wang Baoyu. Yi Tianxing carefully closed Zhan Huang Baoyu, and at the same time, he also developed a strong curiosity about the treasures that he had secretly captured in the first time. After all, Xuanwang Baoyu has completely suspended his appetite. What is this? However, when the second piece of treasure was taken out, Yi Tianxing's brow frowned slightly. What appeared in the hands was a pair of scrolls. This scroll is all purple gold. It exudes a strong and noble breath, and the dragon pattern can be seen flashing on it. There seem to be a lot of true dragons roaring and roaring. It turns out to be a scroll. Is it a technique or a top combat skill? The scrolls must be written, and there are only these possibilities. However, no matter whether it's Gongfa or combat skills, Yi Tianxing is not lacking. Among the large number of ancient books obtained this time in the tomb, Gongfa combat skills are definitely not a few. Putting it in the Tibetan Classics Pavilion will definitely increase the heritage of Xuanwang Town. If it is really the tactics of combat, it will be a bit lost in my heart. Suppress a trace of emotion in your heart, and slowly open the scroll. No matter what it is, still have to look carefully. Forging Heaven. At the moment when the scroll was opened, the three ancient urns were clearly visible. As if to be directly imprinted in my mind. At this moment, Yi Tianxing had a shock in his heart. This is not a method of skill or warfare. It is a method of casting heaven and opening the way to the Yun dynasty. It turned out to be the opening of the Yun dynasty, and cast the gate of heaven. Yi Tianxing secretly took a breath, and the arm holding the scroll shivered slightly. Priceless treasure. This is priceless treasure. It is definitely not inferior to the value of Xuanwang Baoyu. Even for many arrogant heroes, the value of this scroll is more than Xuanwang Baoyu. It is not so simple to open up the direction of transport. If there is success, there will be failure. Without a method, if you don't know the various taboos to open up the Yun dynasty, if you are not careful, you will anger the sky, and the Yun dynasty cannot be opened up. Even if it is to open up the Yun dynasty, it is difficult to know the promotion path of the Yun dynasty, or even the various secret methods of condensing Qi Yun. These are truly priceless. Opening up the direction of development is definitely not to say how much area you occupy and how many people you have. You can open up success. If so, wouldn't all the dynasties in history be the Yun dynasty? It is difficult to succeed without understanding the key points. Cohesion of Qi transport. For the benefit of the common people, the way to repair Qi is to transport the dynasty. Qi transport is the highest, and it is heaven. Opening up the dynasty of war, when uniting the hearts of the people, opening up the territory, outside, deter the enemies, and benefit the people in Li. People gather and live with luck. This is a shortcut to repair. However, the Yun dynasty can be exploited by anyone. It can be carried by people. It can be done by law. There should be 5 treasures in the way of Yunchao. Sacrifice to the roof, seal the list of gods, Wangxian temple, the town seal. The imperial edict. 3 treasures can open up the Yunchao. Quote. In the scroll, the various steps, various methods, taboos of forging heaven are almost clear. People just need to see and understand the meaning. Realize the truth. Looking at it, Yi Tianxing's heart seemed to be completely swept away. For the method of opening up the dynasty, you know it. The mindset of the Yun dynasty has radically changed. The original understanding of the Yun dynasty was too superficial. Many things were previously unknown. Even if I knew it, it was rough. That is totally different from the orthodox method of the dynasty. I really have to do it according to the previous ideas. Even if we open up the direction of transportation, there may be no small hidden dangers. Take the function list in the 5 treasures of Yunqiao. If you do and know, even if you confess the ministers and give them blessings, you will not only consume a lot of gas, but also have very little control over the officials in the DPRK. If you use the function list to seal the ministers, the names of the ministers will appear on the function list. In a single moment, you can control the fate of the ministers and increase or decrease the luck. The majesty of the emperor who erected himself invisibly. In addition, under the same circumstances, the increase in air transport blessings is 10 times the difference between consumption and no gods list. It is a great burden for the entire Yun dynasty's air transportation. Not to mention expansion, maintenance will be difficult. It will only end. Not to mention, if there is the Wangxian Hall, the sealed monks will enter the Wangxian Hall and become one of them. The phase of law, at the critical moment, the phase of air transport can erupt amazing combat power, and the powerful strength has become a background. Divine. It is absolutely impossible to pay attention to these without special instructions. The consequences are even greater, leaving huge hidden dangers. The value of this scroll is really too great. It's big enough to make countless heroes furious for it, at all costs. What's more, it introduces the ranks of the Yun dynasty, and even the key points during promotion. Really priceless. The most important thing is that on this scroll, there are methods and drawings of how to cast the 5 treasures of Junyun. Various materials required. Without these, even if you know these things, you don't know how to make them. When Yi Tianxing really watched the casting method and the required materials of these township artifacts, he couldn't help secretly produce a bitter smile. Murmuring to himself, "It's too difficult. It's really difficult to forge a fortune. Zhengguo Jade Seal requires top gems to carry the turbulent weather. General Jade is simply not qualified to become Zhengguo Jade Seal. Fortunately, with Xuanwang Baoyu, otherwise, we do not know where we can get a suitable gem. Function Bang requires 9-color silk, which is the most advanced material. If it does not, it will take at least millennia of silk, or even silk of the same grade, to be cast. Different grades have different air transports. Even the Imperial Edict requires the same silk. www.novelhall.com. It is best to weave and cast with 9-color celestial silk, or even the same level of treasure silk. This is the treasure silk that only the legendary 9-color worm silk can spit. Yi Tianxing secretly took a breath. The material that emerged from it was just terrifying. Can scare people alive. Of course, the materials in it are graded. You can't find the best materials, you can also choose the next best materials, and you can still cast them. But there will be some gaps in the final details. And that Wangxian temple needs to be cast with wishing beads, it is pure wishing beads. This is even more appalling. Fortunately, during the cataclysm, I did my best to intercept a batch of world treasures. Otherwise, I'm afraid I will be completely stumped by these things. Take a deep breath and place this scroll directly into the Hongmengtiandi Tower. He has no intention of putting this, casting court, into the Tibetan pavilion. The less such people know, the better. This is something that belongs to the emperor. Although, there is definitely not only one copy of this method of transport. But he was absolutely reluctant to spread it from him. Chapter 298, Deliberations. The method of developing the Yun dynasty may be different, but they should be able to develop the Yun dynasty. Although there are many such secret methods, they will never go much. Each one is extremely precious. No one will spread it easily. If one is circulated, there may be one more opponent. Will make a great enemy. This point, Yi Tianxing cannot do selfless dedication. When seeing the 5 pieces of the town's artifacts, the required materials, Yi Tianxing can be said to be extremely grateful that he could instinctively intercept a batch of strange treasures during the cataclysm. That is one of the capitals that rises. Among the 5 artifacts of Junyun, the material of Zhenyu Yushi already exists, and it can be casted with Xuanwang Baoyu, which is more precious than any precious jade. What Wangxian temple needs is the wishing force. I have a money tree. A large number of wish beads can be accumulated, as long as a certain amount of time is given, it can be completed sooner or later. The function list and the imperial decree have supreme treasures that can be replaced in the different treasures of heaven and earth. However, you should think of a solution. Quote. Yi Tianxing's eyes flashed a strange color, murmured to himself. Put away, forging heaven. The gains this time were so big that it was hard for him to imagine that before going to the tomb of the Immortal, he would never have imagined that he would get so many treasures, and his strength would change again, far surpassing before. The most important thing is that to get the way to develop the dynasty, as long as it is done step by step, it can almost be done naturally. The cornerstones have been paved for the way ahead. It needs more population, more territory. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said slowly. Fortune, people are fundamental. Population is the foundation. Every effort must be made to increase the population. Expand territory. After everything was packed up, Yi Tianxing stood up. Walked towards the hall. Ding dong. Out of the quiet room, a crisp and pleasant piano sound naturally passed to the ear. There was a hint of etherealness in the clear sound of the piano. In it, you can feel the resurgence of all things, the mood of flowers and birds, and there are hundreds of birds singing together. The picture was lifelike and presented in my mind as if I were there. Make people feel refreshed. It is Zhao Ji who is practicing the tune, and the 100 birds is played by the Shanwang Qin. Even if you do not pour out the true energy, it can make people feel refreshed. Hierarchy, sound power has always been weird and powerful. As long as you can study this piano to the extreme, no one can underestimate Zhao Ji's strength. Quote. Yi Tianxing nodded secretly. Kai Yan's talents on the piano are extraordinary, and the awakening of the natural sounds in her body gives her unique talent for the rhythm. Focusing on studying the art of piano now is the right choice. Without interruption, left the backyard and walked towards the hall. Master. When Yi Tianxing entered the hall, he was already full inside. All of them were the backbone of Xuanwang Town, and he was in charge of various things. When he saw him coming in, he began to worship. No need to be polite. Yi Tianxing sat down at the top. Beside him, Cao Zhengchun stood quietly, lowering his eyebrows. Low-key can make people ignore him directly. But no one present dared to ignore him directly. This is the steward beside Yi Tianxing. The steward's weight is not light. At some point, it often represents the mouthpiece of the owner. Sir, it's no surprise that we are so eager to summon us. Huang Chengyan asked first. He was clear about Yi Tianxing's trip to the land of Zongbao to fight for Zongbao. He did not expect that he would come back so soon, and once he returned, he immediately began to convene the entire backbone of Xuanwang Town. This is obviously a major event. Otherwise, based on his understanding of Yi Tianxing, it is impossible to mobilize the teachers and mobilize so much. Well, this time I went to the land of the treasure to fight for the treasure, and the treasure has indeed been seized by me, but at the same time I got the treasure, I also focused a lot of foreign eyes on our Xuanwang Town. I'm afraid this time, we Xuanwang Town will face a fierce assassination. This is not ordinary assassination, it will be a war. A war with aliens. Quote. Yi Tianxing quickly recounted what happened in the fairy tomb. Of course, many things have been omitted. Even so, the people present were shocked and secretly shocked. No one expected that in the land of the treasure, there would be an ancient tomb, or the ancient tomb of the Huainan king. After listening to the beginning and end of the matter, Yang Yi did not hesitate to take a step forward, and said, the protagonist, Yi Bao, since it is the protagonist's income, it is our Xuanwang Town. If those aliens want to come and snatch, my Xuanwang Town soldier is vegetarians. Whoever dares to come will have to pay the price of blood. I am a soldier in Xuanwang Town, and I am not afraid of any enemy. Not to mention the aliens, it is even more important to kill. Quote. In the voice, there was a hint of Morin's killing intention. I don't have any good feelings for aliens in my heart. The harm that aliens bring to human races is definitely not what ordinary people can imagine. In the face of the enemy, without him, war. Yes, the original recruits have been trained almost, all of them have seen blood, they have been killed with fierce beasts, everyone is a monk, plus Lu Shi led Tiangong to create all kinds of weapons, and the aliens dare to come. Then let them know for themselves. Quote. Wang Dahu exclaimed. He also has a lot of prestige in Xuanwang Town, and his status in the army is not low. It's not slow to lift up. What he said was also important. He also followed Yi Tianxing to kill himself from the beast monster repeatedly. There is no slight favor for aliens, as long as they dare to impact Xuanwang Town, that is the enemy, all it. In his words, a hint of evil was revealed. The two generals are calm and restless. Huang Chengyan said with a smile, as it is said, the soldiers and horses are not moving, intelligence is the most important thing. If you even know who your opponent is, what is special about it, and what your combat strength is, you don't understand it. In that war, you will lose money. The town is not weak, but the foundation is not strong enough. The time given to us is too short, and it is obviously not the best way. It should be based on strategy and under attack. It assists me with various sharp weapons in Xuanwang Town and has strong war potential. In order to win the battle. Quote. Obviously, he didn't agree with head-to-head and fight directly. That way, even if you win, you will suffer great losses. As before when dealing with the Zongnu, to kill most of the enemies with strategy, and then completely crush them with absolute strength. This is the most suitable Xuanwang Town today. After all, even more damage to a soldier is a big loss. Population is too precious today. Unfortunately, Lumu is not proficient in strategy, Lao Huang is good at internal affairs, and he is not proficient in these. General Yang has endured hundreds of battles and should have his own unique insights into strategy. Moreover, the hero's strategy in war, even more imaginative. ICA and think of ordinary people. I do and know if the protagonist has a different idea now. Quote. Lu Shi curiously looked at Yi Tianxing and asked. Prior to Yi Tianxing's plan, he easily let the Han army blast the camp in the dark, causing heavy casualties, and then killing all the Han people. In the war, such an approach was truly unexpected. Get the biggest victory with the least loss. This is also the most desired result of the counselor. Strategy is only for the purpose, not simple or complicated. Only good and bad, useful and not useful. He now wants to know what methods Yi Tianxing will use to deal with the aliens who come to attack. My strategy in the war is not worth mentioning, but the master's strategy is worth looking forward to. Yang Yi said, shaking his head. He knows his own affairs. Although he has read a large number of military art books, he is a leading general. He can cope with conventional warfare. If it is a strategy, he will definitely not be the most outstanding one. He is a leader, not a counselor. Well, don't say these for the time being. Yi Tianxing shook his head. Xuanwang Town's heritage was still worse. He lacked talent and lacked top counselors who could make plans in the war. However, he also knew that Yang Yi was right. In terms of strategy, he could not be regarded as powerful. However, he is not a strategist. It can only be said that relying on modern experience and wild thinking, it is far beyond ordinary imagination. Only by surprise can it play an inestimable role. However, he never underestimated any counselor. The real top counselors are those who can spread thousands of miles and point to the existence of mountains and rivers. That intelligence is no longer comparable to mortals. If there is a top counselor in his hands, Yi Tianxing will never let him think about how to deal with foreign enemies. Talent, lack of talent. First talk about the basic situation of Xuanwang Town today. Without immediately ordering preparations, Yu read the book and asked about the current situation of Xuanwang Town. Master, now I register in Xuanwang Town, record my household registration, receive a resident card, and the people formally residing in the town. There are a total of 113,634 people. And the number is increasing every day. There are about several hundred people every day. As long as the time passes, Xuanwang Town can break the population to 200,000 or more. Quote. Jia Yukan stepped forward first, and a number was reported by several Jiajun. This is the population in Xuanwang Town. Over 100,000, this is already a pretty huge number. Xuanwang Town has now expanded again. Ready to build more construction houses. Master, the number of soldiers registered in the military pavilion has reached 50,000. In addition, training has been completed, everyone is a monk, and everyone has seen blood. Yang Yanping also spoke. These 50,000 troops are naturally included in the total population of more than 110,000. It is equivalent to say that out of this 100,000 population, 50,000 choose to join the army and become soldiers. Chapter 299, Shinto Dread. Tomorrow is Monday. Ask for a few recommended tickets. Close black lens bracket. Yi Tianxing felt secretly in his heart. It is a good thing for the people to join the army enthusiastically. At the same time, he also deeply understands that it is even more common today that people have instinctive fear and anxiety about the outside world, and want to obtain sufficient strength to survive. Of course, I also have the faith to guard Xuanwang Town. This is a good thing, and it also makes Yi Tianxing feel a heavy responsibility. He built Xuanwang Town to bless the people of the tribe, and the people spontaneously joined the army to protect this new home. However, the greater the number of participants, the greater the natural benefits today. The higher the combat power brought to Xuanwang Town, even if it is almost ordinary people joining the army, other people can still support the entire army. The grain planted in the fields has piled up like a mountain. There is no fear that the army cannot afford the expense of the army. Not to mention, after becoming a soldier, not only are you training, you have to go everywhere to hunt and kill ferocious beasts. Hunting beasts can meet daily consumption. It can be said that the army in Xuanwang town was not trained but killed. Well, 50,000 troops, well trained, all of them are monks. This strength should be regarded as top-notch, and you have worked hard for you within a 10,000-mile radius. Yi Tianxing nodded to the generals like Yang Yi and praised. It's not just our reasons. All the soldiers who come to join the army have a stronger belief in themselves. Training and killing are all disregarded, the people are strong, and they can naturally train the most powerful army. Yang Yi did not take credit, he said flatly. Lu Shi, the drawing of the goblin chariot that was previously given to you should already have some knowledge of it, and can it be manufactured? After the drawings of the goblin chariots were returned, they were secretly handed over to Lu for research, hoping to build this powerful weapon of war with his superb organ skills. Once completed, it is the big killer on the battlefield. The goblin chariot is very delicate. It involves various parts, and also needs to be engraved with runes. The materials needed are extremely precious. To engrave the runes, it requires extremely superb skills. According to the drawings, the parts are polished, and a special inscription master is required to inscribe the rune on it. Although it is different, it is not much different from the symbolist. This can be replaced by the symbolist. It can also be engraver. Carve the rune. Quote. When Lu Shi heard the mention of goblin chariots, they all showed interest. As soon as he spoke, he eloquently told, to cast a goblin chariot, the number of parts required is extremely large, and the materials required are not simple. Bone crystal is no way to be used as a chariot material. It must have red gold copper. This kind of material is not available in our town. Even if it is, once again, we need to use millennium ironwood as a material. Without materials, it is difficult to build. Very troublesome. Quote. He has carefully studied that this goblin chariot is indeed an extremely powerful chariot. Seriously speaking, it still belongs to the category of organs, and is based on Lu Shi's organs. He asked himself, as long as those parts are built and assembled again, it is not too difficult to make a goblin chariot. The only difficulty is to inscribe the rune, which is not an ordinary job. Almost every part needs to be inscribed. Some parts are large and can be engraved on them by the method of the symbolist. However, some parts are very small and require engraving technology. The key is that you need to know the symbol. The engraving is not a random engraving. Rune. These are the key points of the goblin chariot. If there is no rune, the goblin chariot is dead even if it is made. With these runes, it is the real battlefield killer. It can be said that this is the crystallization of spiritual civilization. Runes are an alternative. I will let you know as soon as possible so that people can look for the Millennium Ironwood, Red Gold Copper Mine, and Goblin Chariot. They must be built. As long as the first can be built, I can mass produce it. Continuously create new chariot. Quote. Yi Tianxing nodded in thought. Goblin chariots must be built. This is a weapon of war in materials. As long as you look for it, you can find it sooner or later. The key is to make the first one. As long as it can be manufactured, with the power of a universal printer, where there are materials, they are continuously printed out. Although there is no way to make a goblin chariot, I have developed a new crossbow, with the bones of the feral beast as the crossbow body and the tendons in the body of the beast as the crossbow strings. A crossbow. It was transformed from a Zhuglian crossbow. Quote. Lu Shi confidently said, the Zhuglian crossbow is too large and heavy, suitable for defense on the city wall. It can fire 10 crossbow arrows at one time. It is powerful but not suitable for individual soldiers. I improved it and improved the material, and into the rune. Not only has it become more delicate, but also more powerful. Look at the protagonist. Quote. As the words fell, he had taken out a crossbow. Cao Zhengchun stepped forward to take over the battle crossbow, came to Yi Tianxing, and presented it. Yi Tianxing took the crossbow in his hand and looked it up carefully. This battle crossbow is really quite similar to the Zhuglian crossbow. It is not much different, except that it has been shrunk a lot. It is smaller than ordinary bows and arrows and looks very delicate. The structure of the battle crossbow is the crossbow body like a longbow, but it has a handle and a trajectory for the crossbow. On top, it is a crossbow box that stores the crossbow. There is a trigger below, and the crossbow will fire as soon as it is pressed. Its structure, in general, its concept is the same as modern rifles. This crossbow can be fired continuously. In fact, to a certain extent, there is no difference between firearms. Power is no less powerful than firearms. Firearms, bullets fired, can be burst. A crossbow, fired by a crossbow, can be fired in succession. The two contrast, one is a bullet and the other is a crossbow. Delicate and lightweight, these crossbows are special crossbows with runes engraved, which are shorter than ordinary war arrows. The crossbows also have inscriptions of runes, which are the runes of the wind rune. The crossbow's shot can get the wind rune. Blessing. The speed of breaking should be quite fast. Quote. After Yi Tianxing's investigation, he couldn't help secretly rejoicing. Such a crossbow, as long as it is formed in scale and destructive power, is even more terrifying than ordinary bows and arrows. No armed forces required, but powerful destructive forces can erupt. The most important thing is that this crossbow is not heavy in the hands, and it is absolutely lightweight with the strength of monks. I'll try the power of the crossbow. Yi Tianxing was also interested in preparing to try for himself the power of this crossbow. Cao Zhengchun heard and arranged it quickly. I don't know where to find a thick iron plate. Everyone left the hall and came to the front yard. The iron plate was erected 100 meters ahead. Yi Tianxing didn't need to aim at all. He raised his hand and pulled the trigger, and saw that a golden crossbow shot from the crossbow like a golden lightning bolt. The speed is so fast that people have no way to catch it. Broken arrow body. Only the sound of torn air was heard. Ding. The next instant, I heard a clear sound coming out, only to see that a hole had appeared on the iron plate in the distance without warning, and the crossbow had penetrated the iron plate, and went directly into the ground, in the earth. Can't find it. Speed, destructive power, are quite amazing. The strength of the rune on the crossbow makes it unbreakable. The effective attack distance of this crossbow is because of the strength of Fuyu, which can infuse the true energy, and the distance can reach more than 500 meters. If it is improved again in the future, the distance may be even longer, reaching 1 kilometer. Within this range, there is huge lethality. The power of the crossbow is its explosive power, and speed is the key. The wind rune can maximize the speed of the crossbow. In addition to the special crossbow, if the wind crossbow, this attack speed, distance, will improve. Become faster and stronger. Quote. Especially, the operation of the crossbow is simple. Even ordinary people can easily use it. As long as the establishment of the system and the simultaneous outbreak, the destructive power generated will be even more amazing. As long as it is a monk, you can infuse the true crossbow with on the crossbow. I reserved a groove inserted into the spar. By placing the spar, the power of the crossbow can be maximized. Only a small amount of true energy can be used to urge. If there is no spar, it must be urged. It will consume more energy. Quote. Lu Shi said confidently, this kind of crossbow is easy to operate. In the case of Xuanwang Town, any people can immediately control it and use it to exert destructive power. In times of crisis, as long as the number of crossbow is sufficient, an order is given. You can get tens of thousands of crossbowmen. That destructive power is devastating. Okay, www.novelhall.com. Lu, you have made a crossbow, which has a great contribution to Xuanwang Town, especially in the case of a big war now. It will be more effective. Wait a moment, there will be a point of merit. Issuance, and this crossbow, is there a name? You are the maker of the crossbow. You have the right to name it. Quote. It has been stipulated long ago that if there is any invention in Tiangong Pavilion and any achievements are made, it will have merit points as rewards. The crossbow produced by Lu Shi is one of them. Naturally, you must get merit point rewards. No one at this scene had any comment on this. However, the eyes of the people in the military aircraft's gaze at the crossbow had become fiery. This is a transformation of Zhuge Lianbo, but after the integration of the runes, it has undergone transformation. The weapon that does not belong to Immortal is called the ***** machine crossbow. Hope that one day, the ***** machine crossbow can be continuously improved to achieve the goal of shooting and killing demon level. After Lu Shi groaned a little, he immediately said. There are also great expectations for the crossbow. He felt that there was still a lot of room for improvement in the Shenji crossbow. As long as a certain period of time is given, it can be improved again and the power will be even greater. Chapter 300. Notice. Monday, ask for a few recommended tickets, and some with tickets. Close black lens bracket. The effective range can reach more than 500 meters. It is enough for the crossbow. On the crossbow, you can instill true energy to make the crossbow more destructive. As long as you can win this war, Na Lu will be the leader. Work. Quote. Yi Tianxing agreed again. Master, the role of the Shenji crossbow in the war is too great. The subordinates hope to be installed in the army as soon as possible and form the Shenji battalion. The power of the Shenji crossbow is too strong. It can be a military force. The killer slap. Quote. Yang Yi's military eyesight is absolutely top-notch, and it can be seen at a glance. The emergence of the Shenji crossbow, as long as the formation of Chengcheng formed an army, and at the same time, 10 crossbow arrows were fired continuously, which could completely dominate the battlefield and completely suppress the enemy. It can be said politely that once the Shenji camp is established, the overall strength will be directly increased online several times. Well, the materials needed for the Shenji crossbow are not too scarce. These materials have sufficient reserves in the town. Under the printer, a batch of the same Shenji crossbow can be printed quickly. The formation of the Shenji battalion, etc. After the meeting, you can select the corresponding generals in the army. If the number of people is tentatively set at 10,000, Yang Yanping will take charge. Specific matters will be discussed after the war. Quote. Yi Tianxing nodded directly to Yang Yi's suggestions, and made arrangements. After this war, he will reform the military system of Xuanwang Town and complete a complete rectification. No accident, this military system rectification will be maintained for a long time without change. Yes, Yanping will not live up to the trust of the protagonist, and he will definitely train a magic machine camp that will make the enemy army scared. Yang Yanping heard that his face suddenly showed excitement and was in charge of Shenjiang. This was a powerful trust, and it also meant that he would have his true subordinates. It still belongs to the elite in Xuanwang Town. The 10,000-unit magic machine camp is destined to shine different brilliance on the battlefield. Will be dazzling. The recognition of Xuanwang Town in the heart is stronger, and a little more awe and loyalty to Yi Tianxing. It was a thought of willingness to die. Since the war is imminent, I think that the construction and expansion in Xuanwang Town can be temporarily stopped and the construction will be suspended. The defensive facilities such as the city walls will be completed first, and the grain outside will be harvested in advance. Make sure that your own interests will not be greatly affected. Damage. Huang Chengyan groaned slightly before speaking. In internal affairs, he has the most say. In the current situation, no one knows when the alien army will appear. Once it is killed, the possible consequences will make people have to think about it. It may be completely destroyed in the current construction. The construction of defense facilities is the most important. Suitable for current practice. Well, Huang Lao is justified. All the facilities in Xuanwang Town can be put aside temporarily. First, defense facilities, city walls, and even outside must be dug for traps. Yi Tianxing nodded in agreement. Sir, whether the city of Nifang needs to be closed since the war is coming. Zhang Yu stepped forward and asked. Once the war, if people from other villages come, they will definitely be affected, or even cause huge losses. Those aliens will not care whether you are the people of Xuanwang Town, as long as they are human, I am afraid they will not let go. After the meeting, a notice will be issued to inform Xuanwang Town that there will be a war, and there will be an army of aliens. If people in the villages want to leave or come, there will be great danger. It is best not to easily go out. Those who want to leave Xuanwang Town, leave as soon as possible, or stay in Fangxi if they don't leave. Wait after the war, and then leave. As for whether they listen or not, it's all on their own. Quote. Yi Tianxing said without hesitation. He did not ban major villages from coming to Xuanwang Town, nor did he ban soldiers from major villages already in the town to leave, but the advice given was to stay temporarily. If you stay in town for a while, if you don't listen to the warning, then you can't blame others if you die. Although Yi Tianxing was willing to bless any kind of people, if he didn't listen to the warning, he didn't forcefully step forward to bless the other person. His blessing is not so cheap. The fate of man is in his own hands. The choice you make comes at a price. It's good, it's accepted, it's bad, and it's the same. I don't know how the protagonist is going to meet those alien forces. Huang Chengyan asked. Subsequently, Yi Tianxing also began to speak out his own plans. The deliberations, which lasted almost a full afternoon, did not really end until the evening. After the end, Huang Chengyan and others left together. Immediately, a series of orders were issued from 1 door, 2 halls and 6 halls. Notices about the coming of alien forces have also been posted. Notices were also posted in the city of Fang, informing people in the villages that it is best not to go out, and news that foreign troops would come to attack Xuanwang town. Of course, it is their own business to listen specifically. But the news appeared in Xuanwang town. After seeing it, the people in the town showed a look of shock and anger. Various roars kept ringing. Some aliens are coming to attack our Xuanwang town. What are we going to do? Do you really think we are bullying? Really think that we are still the same as before, and have no power to fight chickens? Even fierce beasts, I've killed them all, although the rats. Quote. A scholar said with a sneer. Too much bullying, these aliens are too rampant, we Xuanwang town is not bullying. Ferocious beasts, monsters, aliens, which is not returning in front of our Xuanwang town, blood stained the walls. We Xuanwang town, not afraid of everything enemy. Don't underestimate, this notice says that there are alien troops, and there must be an army of scorpion races. Such aliens are not ordinary beasts, and their minds are affected by ferocity. All of them are not inferior to humans. If the wisdom of the formation of an army, the destructive power is quite terrible. We are not afraid of them, but we cannot underestimate them. Quote. Someone said solemnly, anyway, whether it's a feral beast or a stranger, as long as you dare to destroy my current stable life and destroy Xuanwang town, my old grandson will never shrink back. If you want to destroy Xuanwang town, you must start with my body. Step over. Quote. An old man said with a firm face. Yes, Xuanwang town is the home we built. It must not be destroyed in the hands of foreigners. Even if I die, I will die to protect Xuanwang town. To die on the road of battle, there are no creeps in our town. Quote. The people of Xuanwang town, after knowing that an alien is about to come to commit crimes, one after another made a shouting cry. The asterisk nature of Xuanwang town has continued from the beginning. In the face of foreign enemies, they are not afraid of sacrifice, and they are not afraid of killing folk customs. It can be said that it has been passed down completely. Even in the town, there are a steady stream of new refugees and ordinary people joining in. However, no matter how many of these people, they will quickly change in the unique atmosphere of the town. Among them, there are people constantly telling about the tragic times when Xuanwang town was established. Repeated blood slaughter, battles with fierce beasts again and again, a large number of martyrs marched forward, using the bones to open up a place of refuge, a home of humanity. This word of mouth, coupled with the daily guidance of the original people and even the newcomers, has experienced the outside world itself, and knows how to cherish the hard-won life. Their own blood, folk customs, have undergone a subtle change. Becoming bloody, becoming magnificent, and flying, not afraid to fight with fierce beasts, not afraid to fight with monsters. Now I heard the news, one by one, they are all excited, and anxious to see an alien race immediately, and then chop them into a puree. In Fangxi, it is another scene. Immediately after the notice was posted, it was discovered by those in the villages. What's going on? Look at this notice, it says that it won't be long before there will be an army of aliens coming to attack Xuanwang town, so if we want to leave, it is best to stay in Fang City as soon as possible, stay for a while and wait until the war is over. Quote. Is it alien? I have seen aliens before. It's scary. It's a ogre, a cannibalistic monster. If it was ent fast, I'd be dead in the ogre and eaten alive. I heard that many human beings are dying in the hands of aliens. Each of these aliens has a variety of powerful abilities, physical power beyond human beings, and all kinds of strange talents. Quote. What do we do? Those aliens are killing people without blinking. They all treat our humans as blood food. Individual aliens are terrible. If it is a true alien army, would Xuanwang town be completely destroyed? If you break it, everyone in the town will die, and no one will be able to survive. But if you leave, you may encounter alien forces at any time, and you will die faster. Quote. In Fangxi, www.novelhall.com, a large number of people in the major villages saw the notices, and they all had strong fears in their hearts. In the face of aliens, they could not find a trace of confidence in their hearts. It is even harder to understand whether Xuanwang town can resist the offensive of the aliens, but the fear in their hearts makes them think that Xuanwang town can win. Despair is born in many people's hearts. It's neither going nor staying now. It's really a dilemma. That reaction, to the people of Xuanwang town, can be said to be two extremes. There are obvious differences. Interesting, I didn't expect to really catch up with the excitement. Before I got lost, walked around, I didn't find the place of the treasure, and returned to this Xuanwang town. I also wanted to go back to the house and return to the villa. But there are strangers, come to Xuanwangjin to trouble. It seems that this is where my son is famous all over the world. How can killing aliens like this make me less empty? A pale emptiness boy looked bright.